and Kap is on for your Thursday afternoon.
I'm going to have to say respectfully, I'm going to disagree.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know.
Well, it's nice to have the afternoon takeover crew back. Sedano and Kap, along with producer Lindsay, producer Laura. Lakers split those two games. Not bad, considering all that's gone down since we left you on Monday afternoon. We're all over it. And you know, pickleball fever spread through 710. I believe there was a Sedano and Kap pickleball practice. We will get the latest. Plus, at 5:45 this afternoon, Be Real, of course, from Cypress Hill, and of course, the man behind the anthem of your MLS Cup champion, LAFC. LAFC. Anyway, I know I should leave it to Cappy, but it just fell right there. Be Real will be in studio along with our very own Mario Ruiz at 5:45 this afternoon to drop some new sizzling music. That's all ahead. Let's get to it. Sedano and Kap. Your Thursday afternoon right now.
You sound like you have a lot of energy.
Oh, dude, the pickleball today got me fired freaking up, dude.
Nice.
Yeah. You know how last week I was trying to convince you got to have the mindset of a champion? Do you understand? That we got to train our minds that we're going to win this thing? And you kept saying, no, man, nah.
Maybe I was just rope-a-doping you.
Yeah. And then today, a total official admission of rope-a-doping.
Yeah.
I mean, you are studying YouTube videos. You're learning the game.
I don't know about studying. I literally watched 3 of them before we went out there today.
I mean, that sounds like film study to me. That sounds like advanced scouting.
It wasn't like I was sitting there, doing this for days. It was like I was still in bed. My wife had taken my daughter to school. Mateo was gone. I had some time while I could watch it by myself.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you did. It tells me, George, that you're putting in the effort.
Yeah, I know the
rules now. Taking it seriously.
That's it.
Yeah. You know, you're understanding the strategic part of the game.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me like you're coming out looking to be a winner.
Well, I don't like to lose.
Well, listen.
I wanted DeMarco and Kirk to feel overconfident.
I want DeMarco and Kirk on the pickleball court.
Yeah, but we're not going to get to them because they're in a different bracket.
I understand, but I don't really have interest in Mason and his brother, the superstar from Ohio.
Right.
You know, I don't really have a whole lot of interest.
So you're saying that if they get eliminated and we get eliminated, we should just do an exhibition?
Some sort. I mean, look, I don't have interest in beating up on Bergman and Jorge. You know, I mean, Beto and Lindsay. Not fun for me.
Yeah, Beto and Laura, actually.
Oh, it's Beto and Laura. La Raza.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lindsay and
Get it
and
right,
Clinton.
Cappy.
You got it. Lindsay and Clinton. That doesn't sound interesting to me. But beating up on DeMarco.
What doesn't sound interesting?
Beating up on lesser teams, you know?
Beating up. We'll see about that, Cappy.
I mean, all right, Linz, have you been putting in any practice?
How do you know? You don't
Well,
know
I'm
if
asking.
I have or haven't.
I'm asking.
Maybe I just want you to enter overconfident.
Oh, maybe she's rope-a-doping you.
Okay, maybe. I just have this feeling that I would like a piece of the Soul Brothers, DeMarco and Kirk Morrison.
Okay.
They gonna crush you, bro.
I don't know about that.
Really?
Yep, I don't know about that.
I have no faith in Cappy. Not on this
Oh,
one.
I do.
I have faith. I mean, I've seen you play. You were there. Cappy, I don't know. He got hurt last time. So.
Cappy, did you break a sweat today?
Oh, he did.
Big
He
time?
was sweating. There was no question he was sweating. He was sweating. He might have been huffing and puffing a little bit early, but then he got his wind and he was fine.
Yeah, there was some legitimate exercise happening today. And there was real sweat, Lindsay. I'm telling you right now. I was even wearing a sweatshirt, and then I took it off, and my shirt was all wet like a man.
Yeah. All like, he had like tons of back sweat.
Yeah. And then I sat in George's really nice Mustang with my back sweat on his seat.
I'm going to have to Febreze that later.
And I used his seatbelt. I used his seatbelt, too,
You're gonna have
with
to
my wet
Febreze
shirt.
all of that.
Well, you have leather seats, so
Yeah.
it should be easy to wipe that off.
Yeah. We'll Febreze later.
Okay. We might be good. We might be sneaky good.
Yeah, as long as you don't get hurt, I think we'll be okay.
Well, I just appreciate you studying the rules. That was my biggest concern.
I mean, you were very concerned about this. Like,
Yes.
I wouldn't actually look up the rules before I did something. Like, who are you talking to?
Well, you studied so much film that you were actually willing to share your wisdom.
Right. I
which
was
thought
telling
was
Beto,
interesting.
hey, this is what you need to do, and, don't do this, do that, and,
He studied so much film, he even sent it to me.
I did. I sent Lindsay the rules thing that I looked at today.
Has anybody today thus far in the circle of trust on Twitter, has anybody looked at the video that I shot when playing with Beto? So you're getting to see what it's really like. But no, it's not a GoPro. It's not on my
Just
hat.
your cell phone, yeah.
Right? It's not on my chest. Okay?
We
It's
need to do
me.
that next time.
It's me holding my camera while playing with the other hand. Multitasking, if you will.
Yeah.
By the
So
way,
if-
Cappy,
Yeah.
I found out that my brother is also a league pickleball player. And I'm supposed to go see him next weekend in Charlotte, and he said he's going to teach me. He said he's going to
So
put
there
me
you
through
go.
the crash course.
She'll be
All
ready.
right. Okay. See, this is exciting. Now, what I like to hear, Lindsay Baseball, or sometimes I like to refer to you as Lindsay Pickleball, now I like that everybody's starting to take it serious. When it seemed like it was so far out, because we still had the Super Bowl and there was so much other stuff going on, it seemed like March 18th was so far out. But now, let's face it, today is March 2nd. In less than 3 weeks, we will be putting our pickleball skills to the test. And I, for one, am pretty excited based on the scouting that I've done so far of George Sedano.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're excited.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I'm excited because I thought the Lakers did a really nice job yesterday.
That's a solid win.
They may have been listening to you that day, pleading that they could make things happen. What was it that you said? What was your line that you wanted to use to them if you were gonna chat with them in one of those meetings or whatever?
I don't remember the exact line because this just comes from the heart, George. I
Oh,
speak
sorry.
from the heart.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something that I can rehearse or write down. It happens organically.
Yeah.
But I will just say this. Look, Oklahoma City, like the Lakers, playing shorthanded without their best guy available, okay? But you have to be good enough without LeBron James, without Anthony Davis, without D'Angelo Russell, with all these new bodies, with guys who've been here and have some pride. You got to be able to go out and handle business like they did last night.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like the win, the comeback win when they were down 27 points was a heart kind of a win, this also gets chalked up to you're playing with some real heart. You know, you not a bunch of quitters because, oh, LeBron's hurt. Oh, and they're not letting AD play. He's fine, but they won't let him play because that's
Right.
the game plan.
Yeah.
Got lucky with that one. I'll tell you that right now.
I will say this. I heard John talking about this earlier, and I agree 100%. Basically, they realized Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wasn't going to play, and they felt like they were going to make a calculated risk to see if they had to rest AD. Because, look, what did I tell you weeks ago about AD? That
Tell me, what did you tell me?
I told you weeks ago that he's not 100%. He's not playing. He came back from that injury because he wanted to play, not because he was healthy.
I think you also said, if you don't have compassion for AD, go to hell.
I did say that, too.
What the hell was that?
Well, because it's my point. Clearly, the dude's playing hurt.
Well, I don't think this is the time to rest star players when you're trying to make a playoff push. But as it
But if
turned
they
out,
are resting theirs, you take your chances.
but as it turns out,
Yeah.
it all worked for the Lakers. They were able to rest AD in a game they had to win, and they won the game. So that's a great thing. It really is.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I feel like I look at this situation now with the Lakers, and look, the LeBron stuff.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Mark your calendars, everybody. 4:23 p.m., opening segment of the show, and we already have the Sedano sigh.
Well, I told you when it happened. Remember, I was very fearful of what the injury could be. Now we have a little more information, right? Because we talked about several weeks, and when they said several, when Woj reported several, I was like, oh, that's 3. And now we're at 3, and we're talking about a tendon in his foot. So you and I told you what I thought it was, okay, off the air. So we don't have to discuss it on it because it's not,
You sure you don't want me to tell everybody what you said?
No, I would prefer you
I'm
don't.
happy to tell everybody if you'd like.
I would prefer that you don't.
Okay.
Because it was speculation at that time, and it still would be speculation because you have multiple tendons in your foot. But I feel like what I told you last week is probably, or whatever it was, Monday. It feels like last week because it's Thursday.
I know. How's everybody's weekend? You guys have a good weekend? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Everybody had a nice
I
weekend?
feel like we just
Yeah.
had an extended weekend with a
Good.
work day in
Nice.
between.
We
Yeah.
did.
Really?
Yeah. But I feel like it's probably what I told you it was.
Yeah, I've subsequently forgot what you told me, but that nonetheless,
Not a shock.
look, he's out, and when you say he'll be reevaluated
In 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah. You know what that says to me?
5 weeks?
No. What that says to me, let's take a look at where the standings are in 3 weeks. This is the team thinking this and being like, if we're in it, if we've got it locked up, right? Like if we're in it and we can't fall out, then he's going to sit the rest of the regular season, which isn't that much longer at that point.
No doubt. Right.
If we're out of it completely, then we're certainly not playing him at that point.
Nope.
And the only way he's playing is if we need him to play to make sure we get in.
I completely agree. I wish I didn't, but I do. I mean, look.
But by the way, that's the smart approach in this
Of course
scenario.
it is. Listen, if you look around and you think because you saw Phoenix last night that they're superior, you may choose to not play him no matter what. Now, if the team makes it into the play-in or somehow, without him, makes it to the 6th seed, you might play him in the postseason, but you should just shut him down and say, we're not going to do that. Now, on the other hand, let's say you get to the last 5, 6, 7 games, and you're still not really in it, but you could still get there, and he's healthy enough to contribute that late, then you got to ramp him right back up. But there is a real conversation around maybe he doesn't play another game the rest of this regular season, to be sure. And he may not play again. I mean, look, just when things were just starting to get interesting, he gets hurt again. I mean, we always criticize Anthony Davis, but my goodness, LeBron James, he also can't stay healthy. As great a season as he was having, if he can't stay healthy, what are we doing here?
I mean, I told you at the beginning of the season, when I told you they got to do something about this roster, and they eventually did, but I think maybe a little too late. I was like, this man at 38 years old is being asked to carry a toll that he shouldn't be asked to be carried at 38. Like, that's just, and this is what happens. He's blown a tire now. He's actually blown 2 tires. One of them is still on the rim, though. The other one has to be changed completely.
Yeah. Well, again, he is the guy that was carrying them because Anthony Davis missed 20 games. So, and you start the season 2-10.
And the roster was doo-doo.
Okay, right. So there's a million reasons, right? Start the season 2-10. Anthony Davis misses 20 games, and the roster stinks. And Russ is a complete locker room cancer that we all knew was going to happen anyway. So for all of those reasons, it's his team. So he had to try and carry them. And many of us, guilty, hello, right here, said he's superhuman. He can do it. And you know what? Turns out he's not superhuman.
Yeah, he's 38 years old.
Remember the commercial at the beginning of the year? LeBron against Father Time?
Yeah, but in that commercial, he didn't believe he was going to have to literally carry the entire franchise for three-quarters of the season.
Well, he did. And guess what? Father Time won so far. 3-2, Father Time.
Yeah. We'll see how that ends up. All right, coming up next, Cappy, you and I, let's dive into, you mentioned Kevin Durant. I want to get into Kevin Durant, kind of the status of the West. So we'll get into that, but tell him about Yamava first.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
Oh, you.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Okay. I'm okay. Yeah. First fall of the day. Oh, it's on camera.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
At least you didn't eat it like Mace. You're good.
I don't track, yo. Sedano and Kap continues right now.
Cappy. So, I know you've been busy lately, but did you watch any of the highlights of KD yesterday?
Of course. I mean, it's a big deal, right? I mean, it's a big story when Kevin Durant gets traded, still hurt, finally ready to come back. Devin Booker's ready to play. What are the Suns going to look like? Just like we all wondered, what are the Lakers going to look like? And if you're following the Lakers and you're following this run towards the playoffs,
Yeah,
I mean, you got to keep your eye on what Phoenix is doing as well. So, yeah, an eye, to be sure.
Okay.
What'd you think about KD last night?
He looked exactly like I thought he was going to look, which is just seamless. He's one of the most malleable players in the sport. You can literally plug and play him almost anywhere. Outside of a very small stretch of time in Golden State after he kind of felt like, after winning the championships, he kind of wanted to play more his own style, which he was used to, which is kind of the way he played with Russ a little bit, which is a little one-on-one. And away from the Warriors team ball, I think there was a little internal struggle there. But outside of that, he can fit with really any roster and any team. Like, as great as LeBron is, I think that Kevin Durant is the most plug-and-play player I may have ever seen ever in my entire life.
Yeah, but, you put him on that team, and you got a guy like Booker who can score 37 points last night, and you got guys who can pass the ball and rebound the ball, and guys who've already been winners, and guys who are older and they're veterans, and guys who are still younger, but they've gotten their money, but they've had a taste of winning. Bringing a guy like Durant to that team changes everything. I got that. Okay, we all saw it last night. This is why I think about it from a Laker perspective, which is all of a sudden, what are you going to do? Go, okay, well, Kevin Durant's now healthy. He's playing for the Suns. They're going to just destroy everybody in the West. No, you don't do that. You don't lay down and die for them. Because let's face it, as much as LeBron can't stay healthy, and as much as Anthony Davis either can't stay healthy or the team has their own game plan for him, I'm not 100% confident that Kevin Durant's going to be healthy by the time the playoffs get here.
Yeah, I am. I feel fairly confident. I mean, what he had was a fluke injury the last time. Like, literally somebody just rolled into his knee. And now he's had 5 or 6 weeks off, and he didn't need surgery, so I feel fairly confident he's going to be fine. But, I always say the biggest predictor of future injury is past injury. So, could something happen? Sure, of course something could happen. But I think he's done a nice job, and I guess the medical teams on both teams now have done a nice enough job to kind of manage him. And I just think that they are clearly the favorite in the Western Conference. I don't think there's any denying that.
No, I mean, there's not. Again, this is a team that's had a taste of winning. They've got a superstar scorer.
Well, they got close. Right. They got very close.
Right. I'm not saying that they won the championship. I'm just saying they've come close.
They've had a lot of success.
They've had a taste of what it is to be there.
Yeah.
They've got a superstar point guard. They've got a superstar shooter. They've got a young star center. Now you add to that Kevin Durant. That's why when people said he's just joining a super team, Phoenix's defense is, no, not really. We really didn't have any all-stars. Yeah, well, that's a convenient thing to say this year, But he has joined an established team that has a winning culture around it, a good coach, et cetera, et cetera.
I just wouldn't go as far as Charles Barkley to say he joined another super team. I don't think that's the case at all, actually.
Well, regardless, the point is he fits in, and now all of a sudden when you see them play, even against a bad team like last night, they already look like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have to deal with these guys. I mean, Denver's probably looking back going, oh, okay, right. Yeah, that's what it's going to look like. Yeah, we're having a great regular season, but, man, I don't know if we're going to be able to beat these dudes. And as for the Lakers, I'm telling you, George, if all of a sudden Phoenix just gets on fire, you got to really look at LeBron and think to yourself, are we bringing him back? Do we think we really have a chance?
I think that if he's healthy, you have a chance, but it's a big if, I think, at this point. But when you look at the rest of the Western Conference...
Yeah, tell me.
I think if I had to guess, if you asked me to handicap it right now...
Okay, George, handicap it right now, please.
I would say Denver and Phoenix are going to be the two teams. Oh, no, actually, they would, currently, they would play each other in the second round. So that may not
Denver's
happen.
the 1, Phoenix is the 4 right now.
They would have to make up 3 games with how many to go? Let me see. 34, 33, 63. So it's 19 games. 3 games in 19 games is possible. Not easy, but possible. And Sacramento's playing pretty well. But, I mean, if Phoenix can get to the 3, I think Denver and Phoenix are on a collision course. If not, then I think we're probably going to see Phoenix. And I don't know, actually, after that. I got to be honest with you because it depends on where the Lakers get, right? I think the Lakers can beat the Grizzlies in a series. I may be the only person that believes that, but I absolutely think the Lakers can beat the Grizzlies.
Hold on, let me ask you a question.
If they're healthy.
Well, I was going to ask you. So the Lakers could beat Memphis in a series.
I think so. I don't think it would be easy, but I think they can.
No, but it has to be followed with this.
Well, they have to get through the play-in, right? Yeah.
Right, but LeBron and AD and, frankly, D'Angelo Russell,
all have to be
3
healthy.
of those guys
Yes.
have to be available.
1,000%.
If those 3 guys are available, sure, I give the Lakers a great chance to beat Memphis.
I don't know
but
about
without
great.
those 3,
I don't know about great. I think now you're taking it a little step further.
Am I going too far?
Like
a little
Laura
too far?
likes to say, you're a little
extra.
Extra.
Yeah, a little
Really?
extra. Yeah,
Really?
a little extra.
Little?
I mean, great means easily or by a
No,
large.
not easily. No. I give them a legit. I'll change the word for you.
Okay.
I give them a high key, legit chance. Now, I don't know if I've just used high key the right way.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
But I'm
I
really
don't think
trying
so.
to incorporate it into the way I talk a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to have I'm not really sure when I should use high key versus low key. So I tried there, and I guess I didn't really do it, did I?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll try again as the broadcast goes on.
Ask your daughter how to use it, Cappy.
Well, she used it on me today a couple times. And
She's a little late on that one.
Well, no, I'm late. I mean,
you're always late. We know that.
I mean, but she's been using it on me, and today I was like, you know what? I'm going to start using high key. And then I did what I always do, where like I try and ruin it while I'm still on the phone with her. So then I say like, well, high key, yeah, sure, I can't wait. Or then low key, no, let's not do that. And so I start every sentence with high key or low key. I haven't figured out how to use it quite yet.
I got faith in you.
So high key, I think the Suns are the team to beat. How about that? Anybody? Hello? Is this thing on?
I mean, high key is kind of like when something is obvious.
Oh. Okay.
So then your statement would be correct then, Cappy. High key, the Suns are the team to beat.
Yeah.
Low key, I give the Lakers a legit chance to beat Memphis
There you go.
in a series.
Because originally that's what he said. High key, he thought they could beat Memphis.
Yeah,
That's what he said. Yeah.
Right. He meant low key.
Low key, I give the Lakers a legit shot to beat Memphis in a series, presuming LeBron, AD, and D'Angelo Russell are all available and healthy enough to play.
Yeah.
Low key.
Man, if Denver and Phoenix have to play in a second-round series, that's going to be out of control. Like, out of control. By the way, Phoenix would have to play Golden State right now in the first round, which would be
in control?
First of all, if you're the NBA and you're getting Kevin Durant against the Warriors in round 1,
right,
you're going to get crazy numbers in that series.
Yeah, I think everybody would love to see that.
Oh, by the way, I need to be on that series.
Make a call.
It would be your,
No, I'm going to end up with
right?
like Denver for sure. Yeah, seriously. I'll end up with like Denver versus like Minnesota or something, or Dallas.
The whole West bracket is going to
No,
be
it's
great.
going to be fun. Don't get me wrong. Nah, and I also I'll get some Clipper home games for sure. I won't get the Lakers because the Lakers will be bringing in that group.
Speaking of brackets, have you looked now to see how you and I are going to work our way through the pickleball?
No,
bracket
I don't.
so
Can somebody print me out a bracket?
Does
or
anybody have it?
No.
I didn't know that they.
Is Tommy here?
I didn't even know about
I think we
the
were just
brackets.
told about it. I don't think they finalized it yet. I think
Really?
they just kind of were like.
Can we just call Tommy on the phone real quick?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. Just make this easy. Like, why do we have to like search for it? Just put him on the phone. Tell him to get on the phone, and I just have some questions to ask him.
So you know
I'm
that
glad y'all do
today.
because I have questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
today Beto asked me. He goes, "So Cap, what are you going to wear for the pickleball?"
We have
tournament?"
uniforms. You said I didn't
And
know this either.
I explained to him. I'm like, "Yo, we got these dope ass uniforms," and he's like, "Really? I didn't know that." And I'm like, "Oh, for reals." And so yeah, they're hot. George, you haven't seen your uni?
I have not. No, I have not. So, but in between, while we wait for Tommy to be on the phone, let me tell you about my friend Jacob and Ronnie. Because here's the deal: if you're injured in an accident, Cappy, you've been through a traumatic experience. Your body's trying to recover. Your mind is racing, kind of like Mason today after he plays pickleball with Clinton, I'm sure. But because you need to deal with your damaged vehicle as well, let's not forget that part of the equation. You may need to see a doctor. All of these things lead to confusing phone calls and eventually medical bills and more headaches. So if you're injured in an accident, call Jacob immediately at 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. So instead of dealing with everything yourself, make one call to Jacob and let him handle the rest. Jacob will guide you through the process, and on top of it all, he'll also fight to get you the settlement that you deserve. You know what I'm saying? You've been injured in an accident.
All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
At least you didn't eat it like Mace. You're good.
And yesterday, March 1st, happy birthday, the one and only, the dad from Growing Pains, Alan Thicke. And of course, Robin Thicke's dad. That gives us a reason to play one of the greatest TV themes ever. From Growing Pains, Sedano Kap continues right now.
Dude, I was stunned when he died, man.
Alan Thicke?
Yeah, man, he died. You know, he was playing hockey at a hockey rink, I believe, here in Southern California.
Yeah.
He was still playing hockey on a regular basis.
What happened to him?
He just had a heart attack.
Come on.
Swear to God.
On the ice?
Yes.
I remember when it happened.
Yeah.
Oy vey.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
Did you guys all know that was Robin Thicke's dad?
Yeah.
I didn't. I did not know.
I was like, what?
Are you serious?
See, that's what face I
I thought
made.
he was British for some reason.
Who's British?
I
Robin Thicke or Alan
thought
Thicke?
I thought Robin Thicke was for a minute.
Yeah,
Robin
no,
Thicke
Alan
have
Thicke
any
is
other
Canadian.
songs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Robin Thicke have any other songs other than the one?
No, Blurred Lines. He's got a whole album or two. Yeah.
That's the only one that I know.
Yeah.
Good song, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll never forget when Alan Thicke passed away, man. I remember. Well, the reason I say that is because he used to be a weekly guest on my guy, the Levitard, and those guys. He used to come on every week.
Alan
and
Thicke?
he would do, because they do this funny bit called like celebrity prognosticators, where they bring on like celebrities to pick against Colin Cowherd. So they get Colin Cowherd's picks and they give them the same picks. And if the celebrity prognosticator beats Cowherd's picks, like if let's say he goes 2-3 and the celebrity on their show goes 3-2, they get to stay another week and keep picking against Colin Cowherd. Because Dan's point is nobody actually knows what they're talking about here. It's everyone is guessing, no matter how much information they swear they have. Mm-hmm. So, and it worked. They kicked Colin Cowherd's ass one year, I remember, with Alan Thicke.
Hey, George, I want to just say one thing because...
well, I have Tommy on the line. Do you want to hold on to that? Or
I do. I just want to say, because Tommy will be happy with what I'm about to say.
Okay.
With Be Real from Cypress Hill coming in at 5:45.
Yes, he is.
Everybody
Legend.
better jump on our YouTube channel. Don't embarrass us, all right? Like we need 5,000 people on our YouTube stream live.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. For Be Real, Cypress Hill legend, Southgate legend is going to be in studio with us here. Tommy is here now, though. Tommy, do we have a bracket?
We have a bracket. You guys are talking about how you guys are going to be seated?
Yeah, I want to know who we're playing and all that stuff, and because the thing is, we're not going to play Mason or whatever unless we get to the title game, right? Like that's how that would work.
Yeah, like Greg was saying, each of your shows have their own bracket, and then we have the ESPNLA and Friends, which is the DeMarco, Kirk, JB, and Sandoval.
Okay, so in our bracket, it's going to be a lot of fans, like just people who do they get to pick which bracket they're going to be in, or did you place them in each individual bracket, like the people who signed up for this?
Yeah, so we're at to fill 8 more partner teams. So like all the sponsors, they actually get a team too.
Okay.
We're just waiting for their names. Once we have all those, and we have everybody's ratings too. Like we have everybody's ratings between 2.0 to 4.0. So once we have all that, we can actually seed it in a competitive way.
Tommy, what is George's rating and what is my rating?
Well, I think you guys are like 2.5, I would say, right?
And how'd you come up with that rating?
2.0 is never played.
We're 2.5s because we're guys that have never played?
Well, 2.0 is never played. The next one up is, I think you guys played a little bit, right?
Right, we've played a couple times. Yeah.
We played today.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because, Cappy, you asked me today on that video that I posted, and you said, what number are you? And I said, I'm a 2.0.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, you're better. Like, no, you're better than that. I'm like, no, I'm like a 2.0. So, like, a 2.5 sounds right, Tommy. I feel like I've graduated to a 2.5.
Well, you know how, like, NFL players get all pissed off when their
Madden
ratings
rating
are low?
You're mad at your Madden
right.
rating?
I don't like my Madden rating.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Do you think it would be cool? You know how NCAA, they actually have a show to, like, announce the season?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that would be fun if we did it on social?
Yeah, I agree. So like a pickleball madness day. So we'll find out like the weekend before.
I nominate Clinton and Beto to host that show.
Yeah, I agree. Just not us. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I don't got enough time on the weekends to be doing that stuff.
All right, so here's the question, though, Tommy. How are George and I going to finally get at the Soul Brothers, Kirk Morrison and DeMarco Farr? How will we eventually meet up with those guys in our tournament?
On the Final Four? Okay, how about this? If neither of us get to the Final Four, can we set up like an exhibition match just for ego's sake?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, there you go. There you go, Cappy.
It's like a silver medal, bronze medal.
No, it's just for bragging right. It's kind of like when in the UFC, they had, what was his, who was it that did this?
Steve Stevenson?
No, not Steve.
John Johnson. Mike Michelson?
No.
It wasn't any of those guys.
You tell me.
What? Just trying to figure out the name, dude.
In the UFC, they had a title called the BMF.
Oh.
The baddest mother bleeper, okay?
Yeah.
And Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz went at it for this, like, made-up BMF title. We can create our own BMF title.
Okay, well, hey, I bet the Soul Brothers would love that title,
Right.
BMF.
If we both get eliminated, which at least, is a possibility, a real possibility, then we fight us versus them for the BMF belt.
Right.
Is that the only team you want to play? Like, is there
Well,
other teams
I mean,
that play?
I don't know. I mean,
Steve Mason and his brother.
I don't know if I buy that they're actually
the superstar from Ohio.
Yeah.
Like coming in from the ground zero of pickleball, Akron, Ohio, or wherever.
I mean, seriously.
Come on, really.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then you got Lindsay and Clinton. That doesn't sound interesting.
Clinton
to
is
me.
one of these guys that takes the game very seriously, but his athletic prowess doesn't match his enthusiasm. At least based on what I heard from the softball.
The only thing we got to worry about is Lindsay getting lessons from her brother.
Right.
Because
Lindsay's a real athlete, and she also, punched the dude in the face. So I never doubt Lindsay in this stuff.
And Beto today told
but
us.
I could see her and Clinton Cappy not being on the same page.
But Beto told us today that he's going to have to carry the team of La Raza.
He did say that, Laura. He told us that.
Jerk.
Right, and you know what's not cool about it, Laura? Is that if he's the guy that's carrying you guys,
you're in trouble.
You are in big trouble.
Well, here's the thing. Beto has been honest about
he's got to leave.
He's going to throw the game.
Because he needs to leave and he wants to drink beer before he goes. Yeah.
And Laura has a bad knee, so I'm being a good sport because I'm still playing.
Yeah.
So
the only
we're
thing
like the crippled team, and we good.
The only thing Beto is going to be carrying is a beer.
Yeah. 12-ounce.
Because you know what? I was bad. I'm not going to lie. I was bad when I went and played with the boys, but I wasn't like terribly bad.
No, you weren't terribly bad. You weren't.
So, I mean,
You weren't.
So not
Tommy,
bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good?
Yeah, Tommy is still, meaning bad. Actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Tommy's still here. All right, Tommy, so here's the deal. We will set down the challenge because they're going to laugh. Oh, we're not going to win. But nonetheless, we're going to set down the challenge that if they don't win, that if they don't get to the Final Four and they get eliminated and we get eliminated, we want to challenge them for the BMF belt.
All right.
The baddest mother bleeper belts. Okay.
Tommy, at any point in that whole thing, did you think to yourself that you ought to jump in and go, hey, guys, I'm still here?
Yeah, no, I knew he was still there, so that's why I said what I said.
I'm good. I can follow along.
Yeah. Yeah. He's quick on the uptake, that Tommy. All right, Tommy, thank you for your time. We appreciate it as always.
All right, bye, guys.
See ya. There's Tommy.
Tommy Lamb. Fun and Games Department.
Shouts out to you. Fun and Games. So I'm realizing I'm watching this Dodger game. It's the replay.
Yeah.
They were up 5-1 and ended up tied 5-5.
Tie. Yeah.
It's spring training. I'm not going to get all up in arms, but nonetheless.
I talked to my remote. When I heard you say, "Is this live?"
Yeah.
I went, Dodgers baseball.
Yeah.
And then it showed me, no, 5-5 tie, spring training against Arizona.
Yeah, but they're still running it on Spectrum. It's the rear.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch it then.
Yeah, so ask your remote again.
Dodgers baseball. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, see?
Very good.
It's 5-1 right now in the 7th inning. Top of the 7th, I believe.
I think I'm going to watch this 76ers Mavericks game, though, tonight.
Oh, can we get TNT on this TV, please? Thank you. Appreciate that.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Is Bergman still here?
No. He went to play pickleball.
Oh, right. He went to play pickleball.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what do you think of that guy? I mean, we didn't get... Let's do the Dodgers. We'll get to him later. So the Dodgers. Lindsay, you found this story about trade targets for the Dodgers?
Sure did.
Basically shortstops, right?
Yes, and remaining free agents.
Okay.
Which include Jurickson Profar,
Yeah.
Jose Iglesias, Andrelton Simmons, and Didi Gregorius.
Yeah.
I'd take any of those guys.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Jurickson Profar is, he has a hard time against righties. Traditionally he's had problems against righties. As for Jose Iglesias, traditionally, and, this is just, historically speaking, he's had a hard time against lefties. And then Andrelton Simmons,
It's Andrelton. Yeah.
Right. He's had a hard time staying healthy. And then Didi Gregorius, he's a guy that's had some issues also. So, I just wanted to break down all those guys, George.
Yeah. Didi Gregorius, by the way, big pop. Still, I know he's a guy that can hit the ball out of the yard, but I don't know what he's got left. He's not like a great defensive. I mean, he's okay defensively. He's above average, I would say, defensively.
Yeah, my scouting reports were all nonsense.
No, I know.
I didn't know if I thought everybody realized that I was a baseball scout. And that I was just kind of doing that.
Do you know where Jose Iglesias is from?
Miami?
No.
Dominican Republic?
No. You're in the right region, though.
Okay. Venezuela?
Now you're going too far south.
Oh, okay. Cuba?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, should have been able to figure that one out.
I mean, that would have been a dead giveaway. Right. Do you know who he played for most recently?
In Cuba?
No, in America.
Oh, Yankees? Mets?
No.
Okay. Cubs?
No.
White Sox?
NL West.
Giants?
Nope.
Arizona?
Nope.
Colorado.
Yeah, there you go. Fine.
Hey,
there was
nice.
only one more team for you
right.
to go to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So.
No, didn't scout these guys out.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could have gone Padres, but I feel like you would have known that.
That I would have known. Like Jurickson Profar.
Right.
That I would
you
have
knew
understood.
that right away.
Right. Yeah.
Although you gave us a fake scouting report.
Right.
Too.
He's really struggled against righties, just generally speaking.
Yeah. He's just struggled, right?
That's why he's there.
Yeah. Ahmed Rosario, though, that's your boy, Lindsay. Or she's not even in there anymore. Where'd she go?
She practicing.
Oh,
pickleball?
she went to go
Trying
get.
to figure
She
you-
tried to get TNT. Yeah. So here are the remaining free agents are Jurickson Profar, as you mentioned, Jose Iglesias, Anderton Simmons, and Didi Gregorius. The trade targets, though, long shot trade targets, according to this report here, is Willie Adames from the Milwaukee Brewers. I almost said Bucks. No way Tim Anderson's getting traded from the Chicago White Sox. I don't buy
see
that
it.
for a second.
I don't see it. But by the way, if there was ever a chance for the Dodgers to get a guy like Tim Anderson,
oh my God, do it in 2 seconds.
Do it.
Yeah. And then Ahmed Rosario from Cleveland, who is very good. Cleveland alert. He's excellent.
First one of the show.
Yeah. And it wasn't even by Lindsay.
Nice work by you.
There you go. But yeah, I would take, any of those long shot guys, of course, hence why they're long shots, I would take. If I had to look at man, what did Didi do?
I'll tell you this, though, George, just talking about the shortstop position of the Dodgers. You think about 2 years ago, you've got Corey Seager. You're going to let him go because you've got Trey Turner.
Yeah.
You're going to let him go.
You made a bet on Trey Turner that kind of blew up in your face a little bit.
Right. And then you think about, okay, well, what are we going to do now? We'll use Gavin Lux.
Yeah.
And then obviously we know that Gavin Lux is now hurt for the season. You think about the way that's gone.
Yeah.
From Corey Seager to Trey Turner,
yeah.
You might say it's lateral. You might say it was a little bit of an upgrade. Some people might argue just a tiny bit of a downgrade. I think Trey Turner's the better of the two, but not by much. But now you've gone from Seager to Turner, to
Lux, which was already a gamble.
Right. You didn't know if that was going to be, a 100% smooth transition.
Right. And now we're wondering about if Didi Gregorius, who hasn't played a full season in God knows how long, 7 years or something like that.
So the Dodgers, as everybody else made these moves and as everybody went on these spending sprees, the Dodgers did not, for whatever reason you think that it is, because
they're saving up for Shohei. They don't want to go. Yeah,
perhaps.
Yeah,
or
that's what I think most people think.
Or because of the luxury tax that they've had to pay over the previous years, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever you believe is the reason.
Yeah.
The bottom line is they didn't do a lot.
They did not.
They still got some superstars.
Yeah. But they're going to be carrying that team more so than they ever have while they've been here in a Dodger uniform.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I mean, between Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman,
ODS, yeah.
I mean, these guys, they are.
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Yeah.
They're going to be carrying these guys.
Yeah. I mean, Will Smith is that. You're right. I'm glad you included him, Willie Dills, even though he didn't like that name when we gave it to him.
No, he did not.
Yeah. All right. Coming up next, let's get back to AD. Is AD fighting in a winnable fight? We'll get to that next.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, our March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
and Cap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
All right, what we need to know is being brought to us by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Lindsay Baseball.
Cappy,
What do we need to know?
What do you got?
what you need to know is that the Rose Bowl Stadium announced today that the second annual Rose Bowl will return to the stadium this April 15th.
Like as in the drink.
Well, that's nice.
The event will feature 40-plus wines with gourmet food and music, and guests will enjoy unlimited pours of carefully curated rosés. Your purchase will include a branded wine glass and pours of your favorite rosé. There will also be plenty of photo ops and perfect for IG shots and creative TikToks. Pink attire is encouraged at the festival. Tickets are $80 per person.
Yeah.
And all ages are welcome, but obviously guests must be 21 to consume alcohol. Go to rosebowlstadium.com for more info on the Rose Bowl.
I like that. I
You like rosé?
I do.
Yeah, it's more my wife's thing, not mine, but
Yeah, it's
I mean,
more
I'm not
my-
anti. You know?
No, it's not something like where I walk in with a bunch of dudes and I'm like, "Hi, can we get a bottle of rosé for the fellas?"
Yeah.
But when
Why
it's
not?
because it's just not like that. For me, it's like my girlfriend goes, "Ooh, I'm gonna have a rosé," and I'm gonna go, "You know what? If she's gonna have rosé,
Now,
I'm gonna have rosé."
My wife is not a snob about a lot of things, but she is a rosé snob. Unlike me, who is an ultimate snob. Like, I'm just a snob in general. But she only will drink French rosé.
Oh, really?
She
What
doesn't
a
like the
snob she
California
is.
rosé.
What's
What
the
a
diff?
snob.
Says it's too sweet.
Oh, yeah.
The
I don't
California
get that.
rosé.
I can only have like one glass and then I get a stomachache.
Yeah.
Oh, really? A stomachache?
Yep. I can't do a lot of sweet stuff.
Yeah. So have you ever had frosé, Cappy?
I don't think so.
Yeah, frosé is just frozen rosé.
I was able to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but I do like a little rosé. Again, it's more like when the girlfriend orders it, but it makes me feel like I'm day partying somewhere
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah. All right, that is what you need to know. Brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. You got to see the original Lomi today, by the way,
I did.
when you walked into the house.
I saw your loan. I came to your house today
Yeah.
to visit with you.
You saw the gophers that drive me nuts. Well, you didn't see the actual gophers. You saw the holes they make.
No, but this gopher situation that you're dealing with, you know, George, I also came to the circle of trust in these airwaves of 710 and explained that I, too, had a varmint issue at
Yeah.
my house.
Yeah.
Where I had
You,
this
you tried to
skunk.
urinate, right? to
Well,
get
no,
them
there
away.
was there was a skunk
Yeah.
that was ripping up my front yard,
Right.
and I thought that if I had coyote urine,
Yeah.
that the skunk would stay away.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any coyote urine,
Right.
so I just peed all over my front yard
oh
at
my
night.
gosh. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, jeez.
At night, I would go out to my front yard when it was dark, and the neighbors were all going to sleep,
Yeah.
and I'd pee all over my front yard. And I was thinking that the skunk would smell that and go, "Oh, I don't want any of that smoke. Whoever's pee that is, dude, that's a bad dude. I don't want any part of that guy." Now, George, what are you doing to fight these varmint?
So they sell at like Lowe's and Home Depot and Ace Hardware. They sell these gassers, which look like mini little dynamite sticks, and then you shove them down the hole that the gopher makes, and then you light the fuse. Now I light it from afar because I stick the thing real deep into the hole. So I use one of those like long lighters that you use for like
campfire
like a
lighter?
torch.
like a no, yeah, that you campfire and you use them for like
like those long,
for
thick
the-
lighters.
for like barbecues and stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
flick,
right.
flick.
Yeah, yeah. So I use that thing to light it, and then you're supposed to cover it, according to the instructions, with the dirt that it used to kick up in your yard.
That sounds dangerous.
And, no, it's not that dangerous. So then that's what I do. And then I gas their ass. And it worked in the front. Now I got to do it in the back.
So you take your long, skinny little dynamite thing.
Yeah.
You stick it deep down
the
inside
hole.
the gopher hole.
Yeah.
You're like the guy from Caddyshack. You're like Carl Spackler.
Yeah.
From Caddyshack. You know what I mean? He's a Cinderella boy, tears in his eyes, I guess. You know, looks like about a 9-iron. I mean, that's you. You are out there sticking your little dynamite stick deep into the varmint hole.
Yeah, it worked in the front. Now they found their way to the back, and now I'm going to take them out there, too.
You're going to take them down?
I bought 8 sticks.
If
Really?
it gets rid of them, like, is it like permanent? Do they come
Well,
back?
no, nothing is permanent.
How often do you have to do this? Sounds like a lot of work.
I mean, I took care of them a couple months ago in the front, and now the front is starting to heal. to a point where it doesn't look, like it basically looked like those little army men, toys.
Yeah,
it looked like the little army men were like if they were all in my front yard, there'd be like little explosions around them of dirt. Anyway.
I gotta say, it kind of sounds fun.
Yeah.
Now the fight itself, you against the varmint, nobody really wants to have to fight that battle.
No, because we called the pest control people, and they did it, but they still come back, and we spent a boatload of cash on it. So
yeah. So now, I mean, the idea of you in your front yard,
right, and where I spent $12 on these things,
taking your dynamite stick, sticking them in the hole.
It's not real dynamite, yes.
And trying now, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to scare these little guys?
No,
out
you're
of these
gassing them
holes?
so that you want them to smell the gas and be like, oh, got to go the other way because that's not good.
And so then they go to your neighbor's house.
Well, they go somewhere else. It's just not my house.
Yeah, get lost.
Yeah,
varmint.
Yeah.
Is it varmint or varmint?
I think it's vermin.
Vermin. Varmint?
Yeah.
Vermint?
I think it's vermin.
Vermin. Okay.
Yeah. It could be varmint. I don't know. I mean, that sounds like what Yosemite Sam used to say when I would watch cartoons as a kid, like the Bugs Bunny ones. But
varmint?
Listen,
how's he say it? Varmint?
I don't know, but you got to deal with this issue, George. You really do. Because when we returned from pickleball, and young Mateo was out on the front yard.
Yeah, he was throwing the football around.
Playing
kicking
ball
the football.
with his pal.
Yeah.
You can't be having these little, what are these things? The
little piles. Yeah.
No, but what are these little animals?
The gophers.
Gophers. You can't have little gophers.
Well, you could turn an ankle there. Yeah.
Tearing up your front yard.
That's why. Front yard is starting to heal. Backyard is now the issue, and I'm going back there and taking care of business.
Dynamite those guys.
Yeah.
Get them. Gas them.
Got to do what I got to do. But nonetheless, yeah. So you met Mateo today, too. He was trying to show you around. He was trying to show you his hoops skills.
Well, I wanted to wrestle with him a little bit because I saw on your
He did
Instagram.
jiu-jitsu now, yeah.
Yeah, now that he's a jiu-jitsu master.
Yeah, not a master, just his first class.
Okay, well, I thought maybe I'd get down with him.
Yeah.
See some
Yeah,
moves.
he was not interested in that.
No, he wanted to show me his basketball skills, which were impressive.
He made 3 hoops in a row.
That's right. He
Yeah.
also gave me the horn because he was trying to ride his 3-wheeler through the house.
Right.
I was in the way.
Yeah, you were in the way.
Mm-hmm. But all of this really started because I got to see the original, what is it called?
The Lomi. Yeah.
Lomi.
Yeah.
Lomi.
Yeah.
Well, you got to see mine, dude. I'm already making dirt. We're going to do a whole garden in the back. My kids are convinced they want to actually use the dirt that is being created from the composting and the Lomi that Uncle George sent them to create what they now call Kaplan's Kush.
Yeah, a business. Yes, a cannabis business.
They want to make a strain called Kaplan's Kush.
Right.
They want to grow it in the backyard.
There you go. It
you
works.
Support this?
Sure, why not?
Right, you got to support the entrepreneurial spirit. In my opinion.
Whatever it takes. It's also legal. It's a legal business here in California.
That's right.
So there is that. Hey, Anthony Davis. I feel like he's fighting an unwinnable fight here because he's already got as we kind of talked about earlier, as I told people, weeks ago, as you mentioned. If you're just giving Anthony Davis grief just to give him grief, you should just go to hell, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Strong words indeed.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think he's fighting an unwinnable fight because no matter what happens from here on out, he's already got the deck stacked against him. And he's clearly playing through an injury still, as we've now seen him have to sit. Because if he didn't sit yesterday, then you can make the case, oh, well, he's playing, he's healthy, he's playing. But once they sat him yesterday, to me it was an admission of, oh, he's not 100% by any stretch of the imagination.
I can't really decide in looking at this story who's telling the truth here. Like Darvin Ham a couple days ago was saying it's all hands on deck. Everybody's going to play. Even
right now, he
back-to-backs.
might have said that just like because that's what he feels like. Hey, it's all hands on deck and everyone's in and because apparently Anthony Davis had no idea that he was going to be sat yesterday, according to the reports.
Okay, so that's a very important point to this. So if you're the player, if you're Anthony Davis, it's kind of embarrassing to you that the team is saying to you, you can't play. Because he knows that everybody's looking at every move that he makes.
Yeah.
Because everybody's been ridiculing him for the last 2 years, calling him street clothes. Well, now LeBron's the guy hurt, and Anthony Davis is technically, according to him, he's fine. So he should want to play, which I think he does, but then the organization makes a decision like pulling a pitcher after 5 innings. hey, call down to the manager. Hey, take him out.
Remember how people were freaking out when they took Clayton Kershaw out of the game?
Right, when he had a perfect game going.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is that right now is not the time to be sitting him. So here's what I'm saying.
Well, unless you feel like he also could potentially blow a tire.
But the thing is right now you're making a run to the postseason. And without LeBron, you pay Anthony Davis to be the number 2. You need him. Now, look, I didn't like the decision, but I did like the result. I'll bet you Anthony Davis feels the exact same way. I want to play, but the fact that you sat me and we won, okay, it worked out. But I hate the decision by the Lakers. I just am very happy with the result.
Well, but then later it came out that it was the plan to sit him, which I think all of this could be true. I think Darvin Ham spoke out of emotion the other day when he said all hands on deck, because of course that's what you got to say. Like that's what you want to say too. But then probably not remembering, oh, damn it, that's right. These guys still want to find places to rest him in some way, shape, or form.
Well, you know what? The plan is fine.
And by the way, by these guys, I mean the training staff.
Right. The plan is fine if you have LeBron. If you don't have LeBron...
You're saying there's no way in hell he's just got to fight through it?
I'm saying that Anthony Davis, it is his time to lead this team, to lead this organization.
Yeah.
And if he's playing at 85%, that's the deal.
But the thing is, they said it's a back-to-back thing, which they only have 2 more of those.
Well, in the next 2 of them, because every game counts and every game is that much more magnified right now, I can't imagine that you have a plan today, not knowing what's going to happen to the teams in front of you or how many games you might win or lose, that you could actually definitively say today, next time there's a back-to-back, he doesn't play in one of those 2 games. That's nonsense. You got to play him every night. And you take your chances.
So their next back-to-back is not till March 14th and 15th. They play at New Orleans in a game you told me you wanted to go to.
Yep, not going to make it, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, so then I shouldn't make the call that you wanted me to. You want me to Hey King someone?
I don't need the Hey King.
Okay.
Actually, you know what though? Maybe what I will do is I'll Hey King you anyway, and even though I don't go,
so your daughter will go.
Yeah, I'm going to do like a favor for a friend kind of thing.
That's a little different.
Yeah, I know, because then when it's not for you, it's like do I have to do a favor for his kid?
Right, like that's different. I already bought your kid a Lomi.
That was a different kid.
I understand.
That changes things, Cappy.
Right, different kid, though, right?
I get it, but I've already got the Kaplan children of Lomi, which they're going to create a business off of.
You got a Kaplan child, a Lomi.
Right, but they're all going to create a business.
Well, this one happens to be in New Orleans, so, I want to go see that game.
All right. The
Uncle
next
George
game
is in town.
After that, no, I'm not in town, actually. The next game is at the Rockets, which they should win even if AD doesn't play.
All right, you know what? I'll cut him a break. How about that?
Okay.
Play him against New Orleans. Don't play him against Houston.
Yeah.
You should very easily be able to win against Houston.
There you go. All right. So we've settled it. But I just still think he's in an unwinnable fight in that regard. All right, coming up next, Cappy, Aaron Rodgers, he is done with you talking about his drama, quote unquote. He wants you to check yourself, okay?
He does?
Yeah, we'll hear from him next.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
And happy birthday. He turned 61 today. John Bon Jovi. Sedano and Kap continues your Thursday afternoon right now.
The damage is done. Yeah. Freaking love Bon Jovi. I do, man.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
You know what it is? Like when you've had a great experience at a concert. I think it was about 22-ish. Went to this concert in Phoenix, Bon Jovi, met these girls. You know, things happen afterwards when you're a kid. And then, like, you associate that night with Bon Jovi, and you're like, freaking Bon Jovi, you're the man. And shout out to Richie Sambora, too, who listens to 710 all the time. He loves 710, Richie Sambora.
You know who also listens to 710 all the time?
Tell me.
Jonathan Watson.
Hey, Bible study with Jonathan Watson, my man. I appreciate what you're putting out there on Twitter. Way to go, man.
Yeah, he's what I like to call the super producer of listeners. And he says, at Sedano, can you add Travis, Mason, and Bergman to your go to hell rant on AD? Because they ripped him a new one yesterday and today. Well, I've already stated, if you're going to get on Anthony Davis for trying to play through an injury, then, I stand by what I said.
I mean, dude, I'm on the other side of this one. You put on that uniform, you lace up those sneakers, you sign that contract, this team needs you, you're the guy, LeBron's out, this team needs you, this organization needs you. But it's amazing to me that the team, made the decision. I can only imagine how embarrassing it must be for him in that he's a guy that everybody ridicules for not being available, and even when he's available, they choose to sit him.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it worked out. I acknowledge that it worked out. I just hate the decision. You need to play this man. This man needs to lead this team. I just don't like it, George. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
I guess I got to go to hell too then, huh?
Yeah, go to hell too.
That's horrible.
I'm just saying, just go to hell.
I mean, come on, man.
Nope.
He's a big boy. He don't need you.
Just saying, go to hell.
He doesn't need you to
don't
defend
like it?
him.
Go to hell.
He doesn't need you to defend him.
Okay, that's fine.
Seriously, he don't need you.
Okay.
You don't have to tell everybody to be. You're such a meanie.
I am. I have no problem being the a-hole. It's like if that Reddit page were about me, it would always say, yes, I'm the a-hole. So I have no problem telling anyone to go to hell.
I mean, look, everybody's playing hurt. I mean, aren't they?
But there's a different level of hurt.
Then don't play. LeBron's not playing.
But if he didn't play, then you'd rip him there too.
I'm not ripping him. I mean, listen, all I'm saying is that he has not been reliable. He knows that. We all know that. But if he says he's good and they say we don't want him playing because that's our game plan, I don't like that. I bet you he don't like it. You think he liked being off last night?
No, I'm sure he didn't.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So anyway, what is Aaron Rodgers' problem? He got a problem with me too?
Oh, yeah. So Aaron Rodgers went on some podcasts, the Aubrey Marcus podcast. Now, Aubrey Marcus is like this super-duper philosophical person. Like, I guess I would just classify him as a philosopher, as opposed to calling him a super-duper philosophical person.
Do you qualify me as a philosopher?
Absolutely not.
Why not? I got my own philosophy.
You do. There is certainly that. There's no question.
I don't know why that guy gets philosopher status and I don't.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little more eloquent than you is what I
How
would
do
say.
you know?
I mean,
you don't even know who Aubrey, whoever the hell he is.
I mean,
anyway.
I listened to a little bit of the podcast.
You did?
I did.
All right.
So
how's Aubrey got a relationship with Aaron Rodgers?
I mean,
Through On It.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
He owns On It, which is like they sell like all kinds of supplements and they have like workout like gyms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's become famous with like celebrities.
He's
by,
like
training in there.
the guru to the stars.
Yeah.
You know,
Really?
Yeah.
Like Billy Blanks?
No, that was Tybo.
Okay.
Although I have no listen, Tybo, your boy did a lot of Tybo back in the day.
Who's that? You?
Yeah, man.
You were a Tybo guy?
I even taught a little Tybo.
Come on.
Back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
Taekwondo.
No, Tybo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Two totally different things.
Yeah.
Laura, what's up, Laura?
is not real.
Yeah. Taekwondo is not a real thing. Yeah.
Laura, you never heard of that?
Laura almost spit out her drink. It was pretty hilarious, actually. Your boy, let me tell you something. Back in the day,
yeah,
your boy did a little Tybo, taught a little Tybo.
All right. What's the most embarrassing exercise routine you've ever done? Because teaching Tybo is good. I will admit,
Tybo is basically like just aerobic martial arts.
All right. I will make an admission. When
Yeah.
I first graduated college and I was kind of just figuring out what I was going to do and I was trying to bounce around the NFL, I got certified as a step aerobics instructor.
Ooh, now that's way different.
It is?
Because I feel like Tybo, it's at least still like karate moves.
Yeah.
So it looks way more threatening.
Really? Than my step aerobics? You
Yeah,
don't think
than
that
your step aerobics
my
with-
leg warmers
Yeah.
looked really,
Yeah.
you don't think that was intimidating?
No. Yeah,
really?
no.
Hey,
YMCA.
Now, were you more
Listen.
Richard Simmons?
Yeah.
Or were you more Gilad?
I was more Gilad. I
Okay.
was. And George, listen, as far as like Tybo being, physical looking and looking like karate and everything, I double stacked my step. Okay, so I wasn't one of those people that had just on the floor.
I mean, if
or
you're not
one
triple
square.
stacking, then I don't care.
Oh, really? I was at least a double stack instructor.
Yeah.
Can you believe at one time I taught an abs class? I mean, what happened?
Yeah.
Did
I
you
was
have the abs to prove it?
I mean, I didn't I was like, hey, you'd get them with a 35, 40-minute step aerobics class and then go right into an abs class.
Yeah. Well, Aaron Rodgers has abs, and he was on the Aubrey Marcus podcast, and he was asked about kind of his decision-making, and Aaron Rodgers went after a bunch of gas bags like you, Cappy.
It's a very, there's a finality to the decision, and I don't make it lightly. I don't want to drag anybody around. Look, I'm answering questions about it because I got asked about it. I'm talking about it because it's important to me. If you don't like it, when you think it's drama, think I'm being a diva or whatever, then just tune it out. It's fine. But this is my life. It's important to me. And I'll make a decision soon enough, and we'll go down that road and be really excited about it.
I don't think he's talking to gas bags like me, George. I do not. I do, on the other hand, think he might be talking to gas bags like you. Me, different kind of gas bag. Totally different. You, he may be talking right to you, pal. I think. What do you think?
Talking to me?
Yeah, he's talking to you.
Why would he talk to me?
Well, because you said gas bags like me. I don't think he's talking to gas bags like me. I think he's talking to gas bags like you.
He's the guy that's saying, like, you're the type of guy that's like, enough with him. Blah.
Oh, no. That's you. Give me more Aaron Rodgers drama. I like what's going on. Think about it like this. The general manager of the Green Bay Packers is publicly stating that Jordan Love is, quote unquote, ready to play. So there's a game going on here. Aaron Rodgers wants to be loved. Aaron Rodgers wants a seat at the table, but the Packers don't really want him to. So they're already telling everybody, including Aaron Rodgers through the media, Jordan Love is ready to play. And what is Aaron Rodgers doing? He's battling back on podcasts saying, I don't know. I don't really want to drag this out. I don't want to make people wait for me, but I am. So I love the drama. You're the guy who's like, Tom Brady, go away. I'm the guy who's like, no, Tom Brady, come back. See the difference in gas baggery?
I guess.
I mean, there is some nuance here,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Well, he's done with you. It is over you, or whoever it is that doesn't want to hear from him anymore.
Well, I'm going to be with Aaron Rodgers next Saturday.
You are?
That's right.
Where's that?
That is in Orange County.
Okay.
Okay. There is a very big charity flag football game that Aaron Rodgers will be participating in. Josh Allen and several other big-time NFL star quarterbacks. This is all happening on the campus at Saddleback College. And it's a big charity event that these guys do every year. It's kind of a little under the radar until gas bags like me blab about it on the radio. But I will be with Aaron Rodgers next Saturday, and I will talk to him about my experience in darkness and see if I can bro down with him a little bit and get some information. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, let us know how that goes.
Okay. If you want to bring Mateo, tell me. Let me know.
I will. I'll let you know. So we're supposed to have Be Real at 5:45. Cypress Hill legend, Southgate legend, supposed to join us at 5:45. But coming up next, Cappy, the award-winning Radio Tinder. But first, tell them about Pickleball Madness.
Ooh, I would love to. By the way, speaking of Pickleball Madness, I will just tell you this. We played today, and I've been trying to convince George now for a couple of weeks that we're going to win this thing. He has said, no, we're not. Now that we've both played and practiced, I think that you're feeling a lot more confident. I want to invite everybody to our Pickleball Madness tournament, Saturday, March 18th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's at the Agape Pickleball Center at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. You can reserve your seats at ESPNLA.com. Everybody's welcome. Thanks so much to our great sponsors, Solo All-Electric Cars, Stretch Labs, and Island Restaurants. And there's going to be so much for the family to do. There's a beer garden for mom and dad. There's a kid zone for the kiddies, right? There's complimentary food and drinks. There's a live DJ, all right? It's not Be Real, but it's going to be a live DJ. There's a photo booth. It's going to be a great time. We'll see you guys there. For more information, ESPNLA. All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
At least you didn't eat it like Mace. You're good.
You can follow her at Lindsay Baseball on Twitter or Instagram. Don't forget about our sponsor, Tequila Mandala. Always swipe right on Tequila Mandala. Take it away, producer Lindsay.
Thanks, Christopher. This is a great theme song. I always like to comment on these, and I feel like this one is a banger for sure.
Yeah, a banger.
I agree.
Nice.
It's a banger. What do you think,
Nice.
Cappy? Is it lit?
I think it is pretty lit. Low key.
High key.
Oh, high key. Might be. In the meantime, everybody's giving me a hard time. Nobody's giving George a hard time about being a Taibo instructor. Everybody's giving me a hard time about being a step
Because
aerobics
Taibo is
instructor.
badass, bro.
Yeah. I did Taibo. Tried to, at least.
You guys ever want to take my step aerobics class? I could probably dust
Sure.
one off.
I would.
All right.
I did all the workout classes.
Zumba, still my fave.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Zumba was a good
Yeah.
thing, too, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do Zumba, but I saw everybody was into that. Yeah,
Zumba's hard.
yeah, it looks hard.
Yeah. Get you
Didn't
moving.
Jazzercise make a comeback at one point?
Yeah,
Probably.
it did. It's okay.
It's aight.
My mom did it once upon a time. And it was funny because my dad made fun of her. Like, oh, you gotta go to Jazzercise. Anyway. Just because, they wear, like, the dorky outfits and played, like, the weird music. But anyway. All right, so guys, we've talked a lot about the fight between Tommy Fury and Jake Paul, and while the fight may be over, people still can't seem to stop talking about it. Rumors have been swirling that the whole thing was fake after an alleged script leaked on Twitter. The script breaks down each round, offering a brief summary of what will happen, from each man's movements in the ring to the fact that Fury would then need medical assistance for an injury to the left eye. Some MMA fighters shared the alleged script on social media and asked, what the bleep is going on here? So do you guys believe that the Jake Paul-Tommy Fury fight was indeed scripted? Swipe left or swipe right? Cappy, you go first.
I'm going to swipe left and say I don't think it was scripted because I read the script. And from what I can gather, either the guys threw the script out or they just chose not to follow it. Because that's not how it really went down, is it? Like, did you think, because you watched it, did you think that the fight resembled the script?
I mean, kind of. It was pretty vague.
Yeah, see, to me, like anybody could have written that and put it out in an effort to try and humiliate the guy. But, I mean, after the fight, when Jake Paul's standing there and his face is all beat up, I mean, who signs up for that script? You're supposed to be the star of the fight.
Well,
and in fact, in the script, doesn't Jake Paul win?
I think you're right about that. I don't remember. But, they can change it because it leaked before the fight. Maybe they were like, oh, we got to switch up the ending here. I mean, like the whole, like, oh, he needs medical assistance for injury to his left eye. Like, that happened.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was Fury who needed medical attention to an injury to his left eye.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's not what happened.
Yeah, I don't buy it. I mean, he lost, bro. That's it. End of story. Yeah, move on. It's over. See you later.
I think it might have been scripted.
You want it to be scripted.
Well, yeah, doesn't everybody? So they could be like, this isn't real?
I mean, that's part of the problem if it's not real.
Be real.
Will be joining us shortly, hopefully. Yes.
Okay, next one. On Tuesday, Grizzlies forward Dylan Brooks showed up to the game against the Lakers in a Stone Cold Steve Austin-inspired outfit.
But by the way, Kyle Kuzma, way stranger.
Yeah, Kyle Kuzma's was way stranger, but, the whole Dylan Brooks Stone Cold theme was pretty cool. It was like the whole black vest with no shirt and ripped jean shorts, jorts as they call them. And Shaq and his fellow Inside the NBA crew got a kick out of the outfit, and Shaq said he would wear that exact outfit if the Lakers make the playoffs. Would either of you guys be willing to bet something like this on the Lakers making the playoffs? Swipe left or swipe right?
No, I'm good. I'm left. I ain't taking my chances with them, especially with LeBron's foot all mangled up right now.
What if you want to take the other side of the bet?
What's the other side of the bet?
That they won't make the playoffs.
No, I'm not taking that chance either.
You don't want the juju, huh?
I don't know. No, I don't need that.
I, on the other hand, will gladly accept. If the Lakers make the playoffs, and if Shaq rocks this Stone Cold Steve Austin look, I, too, will rock the look. Now, where will I rock the look? That's another question. Do I just do it in studio? Do I walk around before the game and I show LeBron, like, yo, I bet on you guys.
You definitely should.
You won. I'm here. Check out my belly.
You definitely should. That'd be great.
Guy looks dope. I like the sunglasses. I like what he did with his hair. I love the belt. Jeans are cool. Tattoo on his chest. Lindsay, you think I can get one of these outfits on Amazon?
Yes, definitely. I mean, you could get. It's just a leather motorcycle jacket and jean shorts, which I'm sure you have back in the day, Cappy.
I don't know if I have any remaining. I mean, they're long too. They're nice long jean shorts.
I don't have any
short
jean shorts. I don't have any jean jackets. I don't have any of that stuff.
That
stuff all went out when I left the 90s.
They're bringing cargo pants back.
What are you talking about? You just showed up the other day with a members-only jacket.
No, that's an actual jacket I bought at the Del Amo Mall at Sada, and it's not a members-only jacket.
Sada? Who's she?
Zara.
Oh, thank you
I
for
like
anglicizing that.
Yeah.
I love that store.
All right, so Cappy is going to dress as Stone Cold Steve Austin if the Lakers make the playoffs. Correct?
And if Shaq does it.
Okay. So if Shaq does it, what are you going to do? It like the first playoff
Chuck,
game?
Hey, Chuck, you see I'm going to wear this Stone Cold Steve Austin. You see this, Chuck?
And then I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be like,
Sedano, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
See, that's my Shaq.
I mean, Shaq could definitely rock it. I don't know about you, Cappy, but
I don't know either.
Maybe you can.
I don't know if I can.
Maybe you can.
But that's kind of the beauty of putting your trust into the team. George does not want to trust the Lakers. I believe.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not messing with that.
Okay.
No thanks.
That'd be fun for us, though.
It will be fun. Cappy can be that all day.
I have an idea. See, if Sedano would take the bet, like the infamous picture of The Rock where he's wearing the black mock turtleneck and the fanny pack and like the chain outside of the turtleneck.
I know that picture.
That would be funny if George wore that
come
along
on, George.
with you.
George, you be The Rock, I'll be Stone Cold if the Lakers make the playoffs. But come on, you don't think they're going to make the playoffs, so take it.
I have a black fanny pack you could borrow. No.
I think it's cool now everybody wears their fanny pack over their shoulder and like across their chest.
Yeah, that's
I don't think
wear
that's
mine.
like a new thing, though. I feel like that was also something
Yeah.
that was happening in the 2000s when
really?
The Rock was doing that,
Yep.
took that picture probably.
That's new to me, high key.
I've never seen it until recently, like the past couple of years. Everyone always wore them around their waist.
All right, George, you have to be The Rock and I'll be Stone Cold.
I mean, you already have the turtleneck for sure.
Yeah.
It's the chain.
The chain is what sells it. Yeah, I would
And
agree.
the glasses, too.
Yeah.
All right, last one here. A Dallas journalist said that her use of the word bruh to address the mayor has left her without a job. Megan Magnum said that she was sacked as Dallas Morning News education reporter after she responded to a tweet from Mayor Eric Johnson claiming that local media had no interest in reporting a drop in violent crime. She wrote, bruh, national news is always going to chase the trend, cultivate relationships with quality local news partnerships. And then, after she got criticism from the mayor and other media, she was fired. Should this reporter have been fired for using the word bruh in a tweet? Swipe left or swipe right, Cappy?
Is that really what the company said? They said they fired her because she said bra?
Something about, inappropriate behavior or conduct, whatever.
Oh, bruh, please. Give me
When
a
interacting
break.
with an official.
Oh, I'm swiping left on this thing right here.
I mean, fired seems excessive.
I mean, really. Like, if you wanted to reprimand her and say, hey, listen, when replying to a news subject, somebody that you may cover, if you don't refer to them as bruh, you call them Mr. Mayor, or Mrs. Mayor, or whatever. But bruh seems a little disrespectful to the mayor, and you're supposed to be a professional journalist. But firing over the word bruh? I mean, bruh.
Yeah. It's excessive. There's no question. So I'm swiping left on that one, too.
Imagine, Cappy, if you got fired for certain words that you use.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
what? Like what? Give me an example.
I mean, obviously, bruh, that one you would have been gone a long time ago.
I like bruh.
I'm trying to think. There's what's the last time you used a controversial word? Can't really think of any.
Well, listen, that's because we work for Disney, I mean, I've had to tone it way down here, bruh. George reminds me all the time, he's like, yo, take it down a notch, will you?
Do you have any more?
No, that's it. But speaking of words, Cappy, did you see that Dictionary.com added a whole bunch of new words that I feel like are things that you would say?
Like what? Give me an example.
Let's see. One that I think you would say is dead ass.
Okay.
That's something that you would say because your kid said it.
What does it mean?
It means like serious. Like I'm serious.
Okay. Oh, I'm dead ass serious?
Yeah.
Okay, I would use that. Okay.
Well, you don't say serious.
Yeah,
too.
you don't
just
say
say
that.
dead ass.
Oh, I'm dead ass. Just dead ass means
like-
you are serious.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant using that in front of the word serious.
No.
Okay.
Or hellscape.
Hellscape, what does that mean?
That's just like you're in hell. Like I'm in hellscape. This is
Oh.
hellscape.
Haven't used that yet, but I may incorporate that a little bit.
Okay. Petfluencer.
Petfluencer. Yeah, that's a one that I would use.
Yeah. It's
Because
a person who gains a large following on social media by posting entertaining images of their cat, dog, or other pet.
Dude, I know some kids that my kids went to high school with that did that, and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars because all these pet companies pay them for that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. How about this one? Talmbout.
What's that?
What's that?
You guys
like
don't
I'm
know what that
talking
means?
about?
Yep.
Can you
Yeah.
wait? Spell it.
Talmbout.
Talm. Talmbout.
Yep.
Talmbout. What does that mean?
Talking about.
Talking about.
But that's the word.
Talmbout?
Talmbout is now in the dictionary.
What y'all talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Talmbout.
Talmbout. What y'all
Oh,
talking
no,
about?
now you're going to use it all the time.
Talmbout.
Oh, Jesus.
Talmbout.
Talmbout.
Oh, man.
How about like when is "ite" gonna get in the dictionary?
I think it's already
I
in
think
there.
it's
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's there.
"Ite" is in.
Let me look. I'm pretty sure it is.
Cabby, I think it is. I hope it is because I feel like it is.
Yes.
We use it a lot.
Ite, an informal or dialect word for all right.
Yeah, I use "ite" all the time.
Yeah, you're kind of aight sometimes. Radio Tinder is presented by Tequila Mandala. Always swipe right on Tequila Mandala. Award-winning small batch premium sippy tequila made from the finest mature agaves, available everywhere fine tequilas are sold. Visit their website at tequilamandala.com and demand the extraordinary with Tequila Mandala. Cappy, coming up next, B Real's running a little late.
It's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, there you go. So we're going to talk. Coming up next, Baxter Holmes wrote a story that somebody in the Sedano and Kap Circle of Trust posted and ripped. And it's basically ripped all ESPN employees because Baxter Holmes wrote this story about AAU basketball. Okay? I'm going to give you the kind of the quick version of it on the other side, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it. So we'll do that coming up next. But first, tell them about Yamava.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
At least you didn't eat it like Mace. You're good.
Oh,
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Okay. I'm okay. Yeah. First fall of the day. Oh, it's on camera.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Plus, Mario Ruiz is going to be here, too. Let's get to it. Sedano and Kap, your Thursday continues right now.
B Real's parking is going to be up here in a second, Cappy, with Mario. He's going to come in here, and we're going to talk to the Southgate legend. 20 million albums worldwide.
You got a favorite Cypress Hill song?
Oh, my God. I mean, you have to think of, like, their mainstream success, right? Like, How I Could Just Kill a Man was pretty good. And The Saint in the Membrane, right?
I mean,
Insane in the
everybody
Brain,
knows that.
actually, it's called, yeah.
But same album as Insane in the Brain.
Yeah.
Hits from the Bong.
Oh, Hits from the Bong is a good one.
Hits from the Bong is, before a banger was a banger,
Yeah.
Hits from the Bong was a banger.
Right.
So.
Yeah, most of these songs can't be played, Laura,
Yeah, I
to
was
your
like,
point.
I
Yeah.
wanted to play some, but you
Yeah.
know, pero like we
You know
can't.
what's interesting to me? I did not know this, and I want to kind of talk about this. I didn't know that Mellow Man Ace was part of the original group.
I did not know that. That is wild.
Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah. So I didn't know that Mellow Man Ace, who's Cuban, also grew up in L.A. Because B Real's mom is Cuban. I know that.
Mexicano and Cubano.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, Pops was Cuban and Pops was Mexican, Mom was Cuban. And but I didn't know Melo Mayonnaise was an original member of Cypress Hill, so I wanted to talk to him about that too. But we can get into all that stuff, and then obviously we'll talk to him about his association with the LAFC because they're very tight. And
I'd like to know how that happened, and I'd like to know how he got into making music for around the LAFC.
Yeah. In the interim, I'll give you a brief synopsis of what this Baxter Holmes story is about.
Yeah,
Basically,
before you do, can you tell me who Baxter Holmes is?
He's an investigative reporter here at ESPN.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So he did a story about AAU basketball, right? And how a lot of people in the league, and he's interviewed dozens and dozens and dozens of people around basketball at all different levels, NBA level, the league level, the AAU level, medical people, how AAU basketball, and if you know AAU basketball now, it's pretty bad. Like, these kids are playing a bunch of games in a day. Like, they're not, and when you go to these tournaments, there's a lot of games being played in one particular day. And basically they're saying, all this load management we're dealing with now, we're just dealing with the symptom. The actual issue here is that these kids are putting way too much stress on their body way too early. And it's we've seen this in baseball too.
Oh, dude.
Listen, with arms, particularly pitchers, right?
Like when you have these pitchers now, and they come into Major League Baseball, and their arms are getting ready to be blown up. And they're like, oh, yeah, you know why? That's because he had 200 pitches in a baseball game for his club team when he was 16 years old.
Right.
I mean, everything you're just starting to lay out right now for basketball, that their bodies are all beat up by the time they're NBA players, is something I've heard around youth baseball for the last 15 years. Okay,
right.
Keep going.
Right. So this guy in the Sedano Kap circle of trust who's always trying to be a snarky guy. And
Who's that? Greg in PV?
No.
Tim in Orange County? Who is it? Tell me.
No. Yardmeister 1.
I don't know Yardmeister 1.
Yardmeister 1. He comes in and out, but when he does, it's always some kind of snark, And listen, I love the snark, but I also don't like you just like ripping a whole place for no reason,
Well,
right?
who'd he rip?
Well, he just wrote LMAO. It's like every single employee at ESPN has to go to a clown school as a prerequisite in order to get an interview, and he quote tweets Legion Hoops, which is an aggregator site, talking about Baxter's story, and it says ESPN writer blames AAU for current load management issues in the NBA. Quote, the current load management debate is simply not rooted in science or medicine, a major factor many players now enter the NBA with badly broken bodies. And by the way, the aggregation, I would say, is poor by Legion Hoops, who I follow, and they follow me, and I'm okay with them. But that's a terrible aggregation because the ESPN writer is not saying that. He's interviewing dozens and dozens of people who are saying that, okay? People who are way more informed about it than a writer. The writer's job is to collect the information here. And this is the problem I have, okay? Because we live in this world where everybody all of a sudden loves to blame the media, that the media is a problem. So what I did was in the Sedano Kap Circle of Trust, I took a screenshot of just a very small anecdote of how many people he interviewed, who these people were, and why they have credibility in this space. And that's why the writer spoke to them, in this case, Baxter Holmes. And then I wrote to Yardmeister 1, did you read the actual story or the poor aggregation of it? Here's just one small anecdote, and this dismissing of actual reporting, which includes dozens of people involved, is not someone making this up. And that's the thing. Like, we've come to this part of the world in this time in 2023, the year of the Lord, where it's always like, oh, if it doesn't jive with what I think, or if somebody writes something that isn't actually true, in this case, the aggregator, not the actual writer, a poor description of it, it's let's rip the media because it's convenient to do that because they're easy to be a punching bag and a bad guy.
Well, look, I haven't read the article yet. I haven't read the piece. Okay.
I mean, it's too long. You're not going to read it.
I mean, if it's going to take me more than like 3 or 4 minutes, I'm probably not going to read it.
It's definitely like it would take you like 4 trips to the restroom.
Okay. Look, I haven't read it. But I will say this. Is there some validity to the notion that by the time a kid is 23 years old and he's been in the NBA for 2 years and he played all this AAU basketball and he played all the high school basketball, and then after the high school basketball season he went back to his club team or he went back to his AAU team, and then, by the way, with his college team, he's traveling during the summer and they're going on tours and they're playing. Listen, by the time you get to the NBA, especially, by the time you're 22, 23 years old, from the time you're 13 to the time you're 23, you've played in thousands of basketball games.
Yeah,
You know?
that's not unreasonable.
No.
And by the way, people, that Baxter's story, if you were to read it, which you wouldn't because it's too long, but you could just read the anecdote that I
Wait a
sent
second.
you.
Is it also on ESPN Plus or is it something that's free?
No, it's on ESPN.com.
Okay. Then there's a chance.
Yeah. So, right, like he's talking to people around the sport at all different levels and medical professionals about this. This isn't him making it up. You know what I mean?
But George, I question this, having not read it yet. Is there data to support what he's saying that's overwhelming, or is it the opinions of the people he's interviewing that the reason these guys have to load manage now is because of what they did to their bodies when they were 13, 14, 15, 16?
I don't know if there is reasonable data, but I would say that there's enough data for them to feel that that is absolutely a potential aspect of it.
So it's listen.
Medicine is all. Here's the thing: like when it comes to that, there's a reason it's called practicing medicine. People are making guesstimates on these things in most cases.
But let's use a football example, okay? When a former player dies and his brain is examined and they say, well, he had CTE, and then you blame the NFL. But hold on a second. That same guy probably was playing tackle football at 10 years old and then played junior high school and then played high school.
No, to your point. Right.
And then college.
There is a long history of collisions in that scenario.
Right.
Yes.
And so the same goes for NBA players, just the same way we were talking about baseball players. You know, if a guy has his arm blown out and you go, well, I'm just tracking his career. He was 14 years old and the coach had him pitch 200 pitches in a game. And I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but you moms and dads out there, especially who are around travel baseball, you've seen this. Those of you that are AAU parents, you see the number of games they play. My daughter played ECNL soccer. Dude, these girls would play 2-3 games in a day at a tournament in Arizona or Las Vegas. So what we do to our kids who are up-and-coming athletes, especially collegiate athletes, let alone AAU guys who you think are going to be NBA players, we play these kids a lot at very young ages.
I would agree. So that's why I think this story, my objection is more with this notion that, you know, that he's the reason, he believes this, like Baxter actually is the one saying this, when if anyone actually, and this is on that Legion Hoops site, which again, I like them as an aggregator, but this one they're way wrong on, and I have no problem saying, hey man, you got this one wrong. That's not
what they get wrong. Didn't they just pull a piece out of the article?
No, but what they're saying is that, let me read it again.
Explain it to me.
It says ESPN writer. Hold on, I'll find it for you. Give me a second here. By the way, Be Real is in the green room area.
He is?
Yeah, so he'll be in here in a second.
You know, you should tell Be Real to go use my office.
Your office?
Yeah, let him relax in my office.
Okay.
You have an office, Cappy?
No, he
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yes,
He
I
doesn't.
do.
He's literally
Yes, I
taken
do.
an empty office and made it his.
Where is it in relation to my office, Cappy?
Lindsay, if you
Lindsay
go
has
out,
an office.
Lindsay, if you go out of your office and you make a hard right and you go down
all the way to the end of the hall,
office
there's a
right before the conference room.
That is actually supposed to be my new office.
Well, that is my office. I have taken it. I put my feet on the desk. I was starting to decorate it.
Yeah.
He does put his feet on the desk,
He does put his feet on
But
the
it is
desk.
going to be my office.
Yeah. Oh, there you go,
Because
Cappy.
it has a TV and mine doesn't, so I'm
Yep.
just moving in there. Sam said
You
it's
lost
okay.
your office. So anyway, here's what Legion Hoops wrote, which, again, I like those guys, but this one they got wrong. It says ESPN writer blames AAU for current load management issue in the NBA. That's not the ESPN. The ESPN writer wrote the story about other people telling him that.
I haven't read it.
But he's not the one saying it. It's not an editorial. It's not a column. It's not an op-ed.
Okay, I haven't read it.
It's an investigative story. So he's basically telling you other people are saying that, not him, the people that he's interviewing that are more knowledgeable in this scenario. That's my beef with this. It's just like, I hate the way this stuff gets run through the ringer and it doesn't get processed properly. And then all of a sudden everyone, it's an easy joke to be like, oh, screw the media.
I say screw the media too. It's nice when
You're part of the media.
No, I'm not. I'm not part of it. Come
Don't do this. Don't do
Come
this thing that all
on.
these players and coaches do.
Come on.
The other day I won't say who, but I was having a drink when I was in Denver.
With who?
With a media personality who was a former coach. Okay?
Former coach, current media personality.
Don't say it out loud.
And we were talking about the business and how just crazy this industry is. Mm-hmm. And I said, Coach, this industry is nuts. And he goes, yeah, glad I'm not a part of it. And then me and the other guy just looked at each other like, wait, what?
That's right. That's how I feel.
Like, you cash a check from this. What are you talking about?
Glad I'm not a part of it. Glad I'm not part of the media.
Dope.
This way, if I'm not a part of it, I can blame it.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. All right. Be Real is next.
All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, our March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
710 ESPN.
Sedano Kap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is that Be Real's in the studio, and he's coming up in a second here. But what you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Lindsay, what do you got here real quick?
All right, really quick. Congratulations are in order for Michael B. Jordan, who on Wednesday received one of the highest honors in show business, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The ceremony comes during a busy time for him as his directorial debut, Creed 3. Yeah, it opens in theaters this weekend, and a lot of people are loving it already. Of course, Jordan is most famous for acting in Creed, Black Panther, and for being Laura's celeb crush.
Yeah. You know that, Laura, you know this, right? He used to live right across the street.
I know. I heard he used to run without his shirt off. Damn it.
When Michael B. Jordan, when he was a young actor, used to live right in one of those buildings right across the street from Staples Center, or Crypto now, but back then it was Staples Center. And yeah, he was always around. And that was the first time I saw him was when he came over to do, I think he came over to do Sports Nation when we had that show with Beetle and all them and Marcellus and all them over there. And he was in there recently because they were filming, they do those ESPN commercials for Creed, like the promos. Mm-hmm. And so he was doing that with Neil and Stan the other day. So shout out to him. I can't wait to watch the movie. Like, I'm a big Rocky Creed guy, so I'm there for sure when it comes out this weekend. So that is what you need to know. Brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. All right. So in the house we have a legend. Be Real. Southgate in the house.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming in, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
So I got a number of things I want to talk to you about. Like, obviously, you're doing this collaboration with LAFC again, and that's awesome, and we love it. And our guy Mario here, and no one is bigger on the LAFC than this man right here.
LAFC.
He is blood, sweat, and tears with the LAFC.
Cap, where you at? If I'm in studio, I'm expecting to see you, my man. I'm not around that often. Where you at?
I know, and you know what happened today, Mario? George and I practiced pickleball earlier today, and then I had to go back to South LA.
You got hurt.
No.
Okay, good.
Just like your new hit, the new joint that you dropped.
Living it up, yep.
Okay, right. I got my daughter's first track meet tonight. I can't miss that.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's got to be
You
there.
feel me?
Valid.
Yeah,
No doubt.
for sure. So I got a lot of stuff we want to talk to you about, but let me start with something that I didn't realize until we were told that you were going to be in here, because I was like, oh, let me see what else I can dig up on Be Real that I didn't know, whatever. Obviously, I followed you guys. Cypress Hill, when I was growing up, was like the group, right? Like we listened to all your music, sometimes on the down low because mom and pops didn't want us to listen.
True that. Low key.
But I didn't know that Mellow Man Ace was an original member of the group.
Yeah, I mean, the movement started on Cypress Avenue, which was the street that Sendog and Mello and their family lived in Southgate.
Right.
And we sort of all congregated there, on the front porch many a night. And that's where we all hung out. And we're, sort of trying to get a strategy on what we were going to do with our lives in terms of the rap music and stuff like that.
Right.
And yeah, it all started there. He was one of us. He actually was one of the first ones who showed me how to write a song. I was into poetry loosely, and so I would write, and he noticed that. And I noticed that he was going in from being a b-boy, like breaking and stuff like that, onto the mic now, right? Because some people transition like that. Sometimes you went from b-boy to, turntablist, or
right.
Or you got on the mic, or you did the graffiti on the wall. He went from breakdancing onto the mic, and I went from popping onto the mic.
Okay.
And he sort of he showed me the structure of how you write a rap, how to transform a poem into a rap to make it lock on beats. So he was the first one to actually get me in.
I mean, listen. If I'm gonna tell you, I definitely bought the single of Mentirosa, when I was a little kid growing up, because first of all, I'm Cuban. I know you're half Cuban too.
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
there were not a lot of people like us making music, period, in English. So the fact that there was anybody, I was drawn to them immediately, and that also led me to you guys.
Yeah, he kicked in the door for, a lot of Latinos, him and Kid Frost.
Yeah.
Once we came out, a lot of people didn't even know that Sendog was his older brother. You know what I mean?
I did not know that.
They didn't know that for a long time. We never really talked about the connection. He did his thing, we did ours, and they were, sort of separate styles of hip hop.
Sure.
From what the differences of what he did and what we did. So no one made the connections until they would see us out somewhere and he was hanging with us, or we took him on tour with us and hung out, or someone dug the information out. Hey, is it true your younger brother is Mellow Man Ace and Sendog? Of course, yeah. So we all had the same dreams. Fortunately, like the hip hop seed that was planted within us from Run DMC. It was something that we could all see ourselves doing, and we did it for fun for a long time until Mello got in the door. He got in the door first with Delicious Vinyl, and then eventually Capitol Records, and then we eventually get in through Rough House Sony. But yeah, him and DJ Muggs were the first two that got in from our squad.
Hey B, when you can I say B, or should I say Mr. Real?
No, he's fine.
Okay. So when you guys are kids, and it's the late '80s and it's the early '90s, you just mentioned Run DMC,
right?
And they had two guys plus Jam Master Jay, so there were multiple voices.
Yeah.
Like when you guys were sitting around, who else other than Run DMC were you talking about? And how did you guys think to yourselves, well, we're going to get into that?
Well, we listened to all sorts of hip hop. I mean, from the solo artists to like Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Cool G Rap, and of course LL Cool J. But we, there was something special about a group to us. So like guys like Run DMC, obviously, the Beastie Boys were huge to us.
Mm-hmm.
EPMD, Houdini, And groups like that, they were huge influence on us. And most importantly, Public Enemy, they were like huge to us. And they were sort of the, like Run DMC was the initial influence, but Public Enemy was like everything to us. And also, I have to mention De La Soul and rest in peace, Dave, because they were big to us too. We were like, we heard something that they were doing that was different than anybody else in terms of what the East Coast hip hop sound was putting out. And that's sort of where we got our role from. Everything had to be distinct and have a sound. So from those groups I mentioned, they all had a sound. When it came on, you knew exactly who it was. And from there, that's how we developed our sound. We're like, we got to have our own sound.
Oh, immediately, whatever record came on, like, you knew it was you guys for sure. Every single time.
Tried
there it is, right there.
We tried to make it that way.
Yeah.
No, but you know what, though? But I hear influence from Run DMC, from Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
I that's why I was so curious to hear
they were
what you were going to say about that.
Yeah, they were huge to us, and fortunately, we got to collaborate with the Beastie Boys at some point. They asked us to be on a remix to So What You Want, and that was like big for us because we were the biggest Beastie Boy fans. And unfortunately, we never got to collaborate with Run DMC or nothing like that. But I mean, they were always a group that we looked at as the pioneers. If it wasn't for them, none of us are able to get in the way we got in terms of success and in terms of people being open to hip hop, because they opened it up. Really, it existed before them, and groups were on the radio and getting radio play and some notoriety, but they blasted the doors open. So, and like the first thing that I ever heard that flipped me, because I was a metal fan in the beginning. I mean, I listened to everything growing up in LA. I had a lot of brothers and sisters, and they all listened to different stuff, like KRLA with the old school,
right?
The doo-wop, old soul, old funk, and all that stuff. And my mother was into the salsa music. She came from Cuba and all that stuff, and so the fair share of Celia Cruz, Gran Cambo, and all them. And she liked also the Beatles and what we consider classic rock now.
Yeah.
And my father, he liked the doo-wop stuff and things like that. So I grew up to a lot of different things, but the main thing that I was listening to when I was hanging out with my cousins or friends, I was listening to metal,
Like what?
Ozzy Osbourne, before I knew what Black Sabbath was.
Yeah.
Because this is when he's already doing his solo stuff. Rush, AC/DC.
AC/DC in the 80s, man.
Yeah, all that. Van Halen. I was listening to all that. And
now, Van Halen, I'm going to ask you a question, because this is a debate we have all the time.
Yes.
David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
David Lee Roth.
That's my man, see?
Now, I'll say this. That's not to say that...
No, it's not to say that Sammy Hagar was bad.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
No, he was good.
Because they sold more records under Hagar.
Right.
It's just the vibe.
Yeah.
Was different under
See, Cappy?
Dave.
Yeah, I know, but be real. What happened to me was I went to see David Lee Roth when he got reunited with Van Halen.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't good.
And he forgot the words to Panama and started screaming at everybody on stage. And he's like, you guys should be lucky I even remember these words. It's been 20 years. I'm like, David Lee, bro, first of all, it's just Panama. That's number one. Secondly, you look like Barry Manilow all of a sudden. What happened?
You were not wrong there. And you know what? He was pulling the same deal back when he was in his 20s. Because back then, he was partying too hard to remember the lyrics.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a chance to see them when they came to when it was Staples Center.
Yeah.
They threw the first reunion tour there where Wolfgang was playing bass.
I saw that.
And that was a pretty good show. I was pleasantly surprised that he could sing the notes close, because we've heard some of the stuff out there, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But
now let me ask you, for you guys, all right? You guys are on the scene, right? Insane in the Brain is blowing up, right? It's getting all the radio play. Everyone's hearing it. Kids are loving it. Parents probably not so much, but kids are loving it. But that's when you know you got something, when the kids love it and the parents don't.
Right.
That's generally the way of music.
That is.
Okay? What is the first big moment in your brain with you guys, no pun intended, where you're like, oh, we have arrived?
As funny as this is going to sound, Before anybody knew who we were, right? There was a go-to mall we would go to. It was Montebello Town Center, right? Who knows why?
Yeah.
But we go there.
Yeah.
No one knew who the hell we were back then, you know? So from one year to the next, after Insane is out there, and now it's blown up.
Right.
We try to go back to that mall, and we're not even thinking. Like we're not
where you always win.
Yeah. And we get in there, and a swell of people start coming at us like, "Oh my God, it's Cypress Hill here!" And we end up getting kicked out of the mall because we're causing a commotion. There's like 300 people trying to get autographs and like going crazy for us, and that's something we had never experienced. And that's when I knew, I'm like, oh, it's different now.
Yeah.
Just a great idea just came to me right now. Be real. You know what we should do? We should get you to perform a number at the Mandy's 2 this upcoming year, which is our big award show.
Oh, boy.
So here's the deal. We do an award show to celebrate ourselves, which is kind of like, well, it's no different than Hollywood in a lot of ways. I guess it's the way we're but we decided to do it ourselves, too. And it actually was a surprising success. Like, we didn't know what the hell we were getting into. And
it
then
was a success because you guys won all the trophies. That's why.
Well, our show did win a lot of them. But it's because we have people like you who are friends of the show bringing people like Be Real to the show.
What's wrong with celebrating yourself?
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. But I think it's funny that we do that. But you're right. There's no
But come on, George. What an idea, right? To have Be Real, like perform a number at the Mandy's.
I feel like and I'm not. I don't want to. See, this is the thing about you'll learn about Cap. He loves to impose himself on everyone and then make you and impose on you in this scenario. So now, Be Real. It would be great if you did that, but we don't understand if you've got other things going on.
When are the
come on, man,
Yeah.
dude. Last year it was in Montebello. Are you kidding?
It was in Montebello. We did it at
Mall.
QC. Yeah.
Oh my God,
we did it at QC.
At Quiet Canyon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I might have.
We're going to Commerce this time. We're going to the casino there in Commerce.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll send a car for you,
dude. My aunt used to work there back in the day. One of my aunts used to work there back in the day.
At QC?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, QC
No, at the
Commerce Casino.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. So anyway, we can get your we'll send out your invite. How about that?
Right on.
We'll
that works. That works.
We'll send out an invite for you. So you go to the mall, and then when you guys start like all of a sudden getting like recognized, not locally anymore, but now all of a sudden you're getting the national fame, right? They're writing about you, like the Rolling Stones, this, that, and the other. Like you're changing the game in a lot of ways in regards to the way music is being produced and being put out there. Like, at what point did you guys get people that you started to maybe mentor a little bit, or people that were coming up to you say, hey, you were the influence for me? Who were those people?
Wow. One of them that I remember most specifically, was Method Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I ran into him at a club in New York before they came on, and he stopped me and said something to that effect, like, hey, man, you influenced us and this, that, and the other. And I sat there chopping it up with him, and we sort of lost track of time. I didn't know who he was at the time yet, apparently. They were just coming up.
Right.
And, years later, he was like, hey, man, I don't know if you remember this, but we were at the Tunnel, which was like one of the legendary hip-hop clubs in New York. And, I stopped you. I didn't think you were going to stop. I thought you were going to keep on going, and we ended up having a conversation. I thought that was everything. And, I was like, all right, man, cool. Because Chuck D did the same thing for me at a club here once. Growing up in L.A., a lot of us from certain places, we don't approach celebrities because we know sometimes they could be very much not pleasant.
Yeah.
And we might have to beat somebody up.
Yeah, you don't want to beat up Chuck D.
Right. And so, we were always very hesitant to approach. We'd be like admire from far, but this was Chuck D.
Right.
And he didn't have his hat on, and he didn't have the S1Ws, and Flav wasn't around. He was totally by himself. And we rolled up on him, and we're like, hey, Chuck, man, we love you guys. We love what you do, man. And we just wanted to come over and say what's up and, just keep killing it. And, we're doing our thing. Hopefully one day we'll be up there with you. And he was like, hey, man, you keep doing what you're doing, put the work in, and maybe one day you will be, doing what we do, man. And thank you for the love. And I always thought that was cool. So, from that point on, I told one of my boys, man, that Chuck is one of the coolest mofos ever. If I ever get on, that's how I'm going to be with my people. You know what I mean? And
yeah, it's cool.
I carried that torch, and what's funny is we had years later, fast forward to, let's just say, when we did Smoking Grooves tour, and Public Enemy and Cypress Hill are on this tour together.
Yeah.
For the first time we're touring with them. And we had what is known now as a meet and greet booth, but back then we would just go and sign autographs, be with our fans, do the pictures and all that for nothing. This was just us finding a way to connect
Paying
with
back
our fans.
to your
yeah.
fans.
Grassroots, by the way.
Yeah, they didn't have to buy nothing.
Right.
We were just there, shaking hands, taking pictures. And no other bands were doing this backstage or out there in the crowd, because we put our booth out in the crowd.
Right.
And we had no security. We just went out there and we invited Chuck.
Right.
Like, hey, Chuck, if you want to come out and be with the fans. And he goes, what are you guys doing? I'm like, well, we're just spending time with the fans before we go on stage. He goes, really? So we bring him to the booth, and, he sees a line of like 200-300 kids, and he goes like, wow, you guys are doing this. What made you think of this? I said, it was the 5 minutes you gave me at the Penthouse Lounge in LA. And then he proceeds to tell me, hey, look, an older artist told me the 5 minutes you give your fans is something they remember forever, whether it's a positive moment or a negative moment. And it's that 5 minutes you give. And that the 5 minute rule has always been with me. And I passed that on to Meth.
Yeah.
And so, that's the most notable one that I could remember, is when Method Man told me, because it came all the way from Chuck.
Right.
And who knows where he got it from. He never told me. But, I stay with that, because our fans build us up. They're everything. So we got to be able to spend that time with them.
That's cool, man. That is really cool. That is super cool. All right, so can I ask the question, which, Mario's in. The LAFC is getting ready to kick off, right? So how did this all happen? How did you get involved with the organization?
They knew I was a fan, I guess, and the problem was I was never able to go to games because we were always out on tour, right. And with the way that everything had played out in those last couple of years, we didn't really have any touring plans because things were still not fully back yet.
Right.
But when the games came, we had open schedules, and they asked me to come down to a game. After they asked me for a song, they asked me if I would do a song for them, and I was like, "Oh, hell yeah. Team LA, let's go!"
Yeah.
And so DJ Flick sent me the track, and he had Kid Ink on it, and it was an easy snap in. The beat to me was tight.
There it is, right there.
Yeah. Yes, Kid Ink killed it, so I was like, you know what, this is an easy plug-in, and I love the team. I was born and raised here in LA, so it's easy. Let's go. And so once I did the song, they started inviting me to the games. They're like, hey, would you want to come see the game? And the first game I went to, I sat there, in the front row, or what do they call it?
Celebrity row.
Yeah.
Celebrity row.
Yeah. Right there on the pitch. Yeah.
And I was right there by the pitch. And I was like, wow, this is awesome, because I seen the whole stadium is just filled.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And I underestimated that, because I hadn't been to any of the games.
Right.
This was my first one, and seeing it filled to the rim. And then the most eye-opening part is the 3252
The supporter section is insane, too.
Was the most insane section. Like, I've been to every sports game here played in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
All of them, right? There was no vibe quite like that one.
Yep.
And so I said, the next game I come to, I want to go up there.
Yeah.
And so they took me up there. And the 3252 drum line allowed me to play drums with them.
Oh, nice.
Because I play percussions.
Right.
And when I finished, I was like, they won the game.
Yeah.
Right? We were like, we were feeling the vibe, because we were creating the vibe with the drums and all that stuff. And then they kill it. They in every game I came to after that, I played drums, and I brought in one of my bandmates from Cypress Hill, Eric Bobo, who is our drummer and percussion player. Brought him up there, and we became a part of the 3252 section. They embraced us with open arms, and that's where we watched the game. We don't even watch. We're drumming with them. We're watching and drumming, I should say.
Right. Well, soccer allows for that. You can keep an eye on that while still doing your thing.
It's the most awesome vibe, man.
Yeah.
You know, getting to support the team and be there and help create the vibe.
What do you got? Like one snare? You got 3 tom-toms? What kind of drums are we talking?
I mean, it's a row of, like kick drums, a row of snares, a row of toms and stuff like that. It's a pretty robust section of percussions. It gets pretty loud too, man.
Oh yeah.
I remember the first time I went up there, I didn't have my earpieces, and my ear was ringing for like a month after that. I was like, no way, next time, bring my ear.
But
not a day.
To your point, it is one of the best atmospheres I've been to. Like, to your point, like I grew up in Miami, but I've lived here for 7 years now, and I've been to all of them. Okay, and I've been every single arena, every single venue, and that place. I've been there only a couple of times, but it is always live every single time you're in that building.
Listen, I'm a lifelong Lakers fan, and I went to the championship games with Kobe and Shaq, and with Kobe and Gasol and Odom and all them, and it was Buck. It was crazy. In those championship games, but it was in those championship games only where you see this kind of crazy energy, right? Whereas every game,
LAFC,
that section, it's like it's a championship game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pride, a lot of passion, and I mean, if you're from LA, you gotta love that. It reminds me of the way that the Black Hole was when it
with
was
the Raiders,
old school.
Raiders,
Hey, be real, just real quick. You just used a word that I've not ever heard before. And I will definitely use it, but I just want to make sure I use it properly.
So he has how many? You have 4 children, 1 in high school, 3 in college. So he tries to pick up the language.
I screwed up. So I screwed up today, and I said high key,
and he meant low key.
But I meant low key.
Right.
Low key.
Okay. So you just used a word buck. Now I it sounds lit. It sounds dope AF. But tell me how to use buck properly, please.
That's like if someone's like getting wild, like getting crazy or on one. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it's the short terminology for the old school term buck wild.
There you go. There you go. See, did you understand that?
Yeah. Now I got it. I will be using that immediately. Immediately, I will be incorporating that high key.
So that we're not played out. We just say buck now.
Yeah.
There you go. Just shorten it up.
Just shorten it up.
Cappy on the Mandy stage is getting buck wild.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'm going buck.
There you go.
We could just go buck.
Now, we just played the song too. So, but there's a new version. It's a revamped version of this song for the LAFC.
Revamped version for our Latino peoples out there.
Yeah.
I flipped the version in Spanish, which was cool. I mean, I didn't expect that. But I mean, we there's a lot of us out here in
for
LA,
sure. Yeah.
so why not? And a lot of people ask me to do more Spanish songs and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where it's kind of filling a want of some of our fans, and at the same time, it's flexing a skill that I have that I don't flex enough. I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. It's challenging because I mean, it's English is my first language. I was born here. My mother was born in Cuba and my father in Mexico, but I was born here.
Yeah.
So, but I always, they always spoke Spanish to me, so I understood it and could speak back.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was in my teens where I would actually had enough confidence to speak Spanish, in front of people.
I mean, teens is crazy because I'm a grown ass man, and even now, like, I mean, it wasn't until honestly I was much older than that where I felt like confident where I could have a real conversation with people. For sure.
I still have that hang up. Like if I have a couple of drinks, I could totally have the conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm not carrying how I sound. But when I'm like this, oh man, I'd be having anxieties. Am I saying? Am I going to say?
Right, you don't want to say it, right? Because I mean, my mom or my grandma would be like, "Es un disparate." You know what I mean? Like it'd just be like you're talking nonsense. So I feel you. I get it. Man.
Ay, Dios mío.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
There you go. Be real. LAFC is coming soon. The new joint is out. Laura, we have it here? There we go. My dude, thank you so much. You are a legend, not only in the music industry, but to this community. And we thank you so much for just being in the studio and hanging out with us for a few minutes.
Hey,
man.
thank you for the invite. And if I am in town, I will run through the Mandy's and,
get buck.
Splash a song and get buck.
And get buck.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, I hear a collab with Bad Bunny coming. in Espanol.
Thank you, Be Real. Appreciate you.
Right on. Go LAFC.
Season opener this Saturday.
Yes,
season
sir.
opener.
This Saturday, season opener. All right, coming up next. What do we got next, Lindsay?
Blake's going to be next.
All right, so we're going to do Blake next. We'll do our Dodgers segment next. We'll do Big Deal, No Deal at the end. And we have what, Laura? I have to tell you about my friend Jacob and Ryan.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Okay. I'm okay. Yeah. First fall of the day. Oh, it's on camera.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
Cap continues your Thursday afternoon right now.
If I was your boyfriend, never let you go.
Oh, Bieber. We got our own version of Bieber. We got Blake.
Can we just stop for a quick second here and acknowledge how cool we are?
No, we're not cool. Be Real is cool, and we were lucky that he was able to share some coolness with us.
No, but that's my point.
Yeah.
Is that to have Be Real on this show And already everybody in the circle of trust is like, bring on more LA hip hop or just music legends.
I
Bring
would
'em
totally
in,
do it, yeah.
And I'm in. I'm down.
Yeah.
Low key in a big way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready to get Buck all up in it.
Oh, Jesus.
But
What
here's
does that
the thing.
even mean? Buck all up in it?
Yeah, it means like get Buck wild.
Yeah.
You know, like, but you shorten it down to Buck.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Just got to just feel how cool it feels right now to have been doing that interview and simultaneously to have been listening to that interview on 710. Just acknowledge it for a second. Just feel it. You feel it?
I felt it, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. It was great.
Thank you.
And from that, we go to Blake. Hi,
Yeah,
Blake.
I feel like that's a tough transition because I got a lot to follow from that. I feel like maybe if I would have been pushed back to like at least 6:45.
I did suggest to Lindsay. Blake. I did suggest to Lindsay we could do 6:45 with Blake, and that way you're just coming off a regular old Sedano and Cap segment,
right?
But she's like, let's get. She felt bad. She didn't want to keep you waiting any longer. So.
That was nice of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already moved him once.
Very, very nice of Lindsay.
Yeah.
Very nice. But I'll do my best to try to follow up that great interview, but no promises.
Did you catch any of it?
I was able to catch the last 15 minutes, and you guys killed it. That was a great interview, and I agree with what everyone's been saying in the circle of trust. Like, get more of that on. Have more content like that on the radio show because that's what the people that are listening in the city of LA want to hear.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll tell you something else. We blew up the clock without any apology whatsoever.
No, I just said the hell
right.
with it. Yeah.
I don't even care.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of content that keeps everybody listening. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't. That was not necessarily rhetorical. I was actually looking for an answer.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
also
I know what
looking at
you're
the
saying.
text you just sent Mario in our text chat here.
Yeah. Well, I got a text from a guy who was like, yo, it's Scooter from the band Cold. Can't believe you guys are having him on. Be real. It's my man.
Yeah.
And then, of course, told me many stories that probably a lot of other people have. I was with Be Real here, and we were doing this. All right.
How great was that story, though, about him, Method Man, him being kind of passing it along, right? Like, to Method Man, just being cool with him, giving him a few minutes, right? And then Chuck D was the guy who gave him a few minutes. It's just like, it's always cool to just pay it forward. Just give people a few minutes. It's all good,
Yeah. And you never know, truth be told, not to get like overly corny on everybody, but you never know when just being nice to somebody for just 5 minutes can influence their lives, And if you've ever had somebody come back to you and go, hey, man, I don't know if you remember this, but you talked to me about this. Like, okay. And that had an impact? Well, gosh, thanks for telling me. So way to go, Chuck D.
Yeah.
Way to go, Be Real. And way to go, Method Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. And by the way, if you missed it, you can listen to the podcast. You should already be subscribing to the Sedano and Cap podcast wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Google, ESPNLA app, ESPN app, whatever. Because we have Blake on every week, but you should now do it for sure if you want to hear.
And I'll tell you something else, George. The social media team, okay, just throwing out a suggestion, guys.
Yeah.
But you cut that out by itself and you let it sit alone on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So it's not just caught up in the show; it's its own standalone piece of content.
Yeah, I would
that
agree.
You can tweet.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Social media people. Tommy, if you're still listening, shouts out to you. All right, Blake, let's do this.
Hi, Blake.
Let's talk to you, actually. So, yeah, all of a sudden, big problem at shortstop now. What the hell are you going to do if you're the Dodgers?
Yeah, I mean, this thing, it's days later, and it's still just so frustrating, the whole thing with Gavin Lux. And, we talked about this so many times this offseason, guys, about how I kept saying how thin the Dodgers were when it came to their infield depth, and it's going to take a major hit now. So obviously Miguel Rojas, he looks like he's going to be the go-to guy. He even dropped out of the World Baseball Classic today. He was going to play for his home team of Venezuela, but he knows that he needs to get more reps in for the Dodgers, so major shout-out to him. But it's going to be Miguel Rojas. Chris Taylor's going to get some action as well. And outside of that, there's no one. I think they might be having open tryouts, so if you guys want to set up a circle of trust, meet up at Dodger Stadium when they hold those tryouts for a starting shortstop, because if one of these guys gets hurt, they're going to be in some serious trouble.
Actually, that's an unbelievably good idea, Blake. What we should do, George, is we should set up a workout one day, invite everybody who thinks that they can play shortstop for the Dodgers to show up, and whoever is the best shortstop from our workout gets a tryout with the Dodgers. That's an amazing idea, Blake. We
Just
might
make
find
sure
some
there's
talent.
No beers there. As long as there's no beers there, I stand a shot. But
All right.
if we start having an episode of Union Station, I don't think I'll be making the cut.
But Blake, think about this for a second. You lose Corey Seager, you go to Trey Turner. You lose Trey Turner, you go to Gavin Lux. You lose Gavin Lux, you go to Miguel Rojas. I mean, how far behind a Corey Seager or a Trey Turner is a Miguel Rojas? How much of a downgrade would it be, both offensively and defensively?
I will start on the positive. Out of all these shortstops they've had over the years, Miguel Rojas is by far the best defensively. Now, offensively, that's another story. He is by far the worst. I mean, when you talk about league average hitting, they like to say OPS plus is like the go-to stat. A league average OPS is about 100. To put it into context, Cody Bellinger last season had an OPS plus of 78, and he was one of the worst hitters in all of baseball. Miguel Rojas had an OPS plus of 72. So this is a hitter that's even worse than Cody Bellinger. So I think that can answer your question right there.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, when you look at who the last two shortstops have been for the Dodgers, and then there was no guarantee that Gavin Lux was going to be the answer, but at least he was going to get the first shot. And you're right. I mean, it's a week later, and it's still kind of hard to believe. Poor kid, I mean, get that sort of an injury this early in spring training. Shame.
What should they do? Should they go out and try to get somebody?
So I think they should at least test the trade market, see what kind of shortstops are available. The only problem is I think if there is one that becomes available, they might have to overpay for someone. So I don't think they go that route. Now, George, and this is something you might like. When we were talking about this actually on my podcast the other day, my co-host brought this up. This could actually potentially make a Brian Reynolds trade that much more enticing for the Dodgers, because now you have Miguel Vargas, who is obviously going to be seeing time at second base. Well, maybe if you move Mookie Betts into second base like they've been talking about, wanting to get him more reps there now that they lost Gavin Lux, you might have an extra outfield spot that you need available. So I know a lot of people are putting together these hypothetical shortstop trades, but just one that you could potentially think of if they do move Mookie Betts or they do move some shuffling around. That could allow them to potentially bring in Brian Reynolds, because they do need another bat with the exit of Gavin Lux. So maybe that's something the Dodgers consider. Maybe that's something they think of, because it still sounds like he's requesting a trade. So I think that's one that potentially could go down if the Dodgers opt to not actually trade for a starting shortstop.
But let's just say they don't. So now, is Chris Taylor really – I mean, he seems to be the kind of ball player that can pretty much play anywhere. But could he be – I don't know if I'd call him an everyday shortstop, but even a fill-in shortstop?
He's the kind of guy that you want out there when it's the seventh inning and the Dodgers are up by 8 runs, or if it's September, like in last year when the Dodgers had a 30-game lead in the division. If this is a tight, division race come August, come September, I don't think the Dodgers are necessarily going to be too comfortable if they're having to rely on Chris Taylor. And I also don't think they're going to be happy if they have to rely on Miguel Rojas. So they were solid options, considering they were backups to Gavin Lux. I think the Dodgers were fine there. But, yeah, now throwing them into the fire, having to ask Miguel Rojas to be your everyday starting shortstop, I do wonder. Again, I know that the Dodgers are creative. They're smart. They know more stuff than we do. But I just find it hard to believe that the Dodgers, they can take this team the way it's built with all the money they've spent and play 162 games and go into the playoffs. Relying on Miguel Rojas and Chris Taylor, I just don't think that they're proven enough. I don't think you can rely on them. So I guess we'll just wait and see. I mean, maybe a week from now we're talking about a brand new shortstop, but I think they go with those two guys for the season.
Yeah. Did I just hear you pull a Sedano side?
And then I Sedano side after.
Right. What's with the double side?
I mean, he's right, though. It's just this is a really challenging situation for them. Already the infield was already going to be challenging enough, right, Blake? That's just kind of the way I look at it, where I think you're going to have to really see what some of these kids can do this spring to get a real feel for what you can do during the regular season.
I mean, it's the craziest thing with this injury, because Gavin Lux, I mean, it's not like they lost a Freddie Freeman. They didn't lose a Mookie Betts. Gavin Lux probably isn't a top 5 player in that lineup, but because they were relying on him so much, I mean, they let Trey Turner walk because they banked on Gavin Lux being the go-to guy. they didn't sign a lot of these top-tier shortstops. Dansby Swanson, he was a name we talked about numerous times this offseason. They opted to not give one of these guys $200 million because they believed in Gavin Lux. He was going to be a guy that was finally going to take that leap. He was finally going to potentially be that all-star caliber shortstop that he was expected to be when he was the best player in the minors, so many years ago. So, yeah, I mean, it truly is detrimental, for the Dodgers. And, you feel for the guy, but they're going to be tested because a lot of these young rookies now who maybe weren't going to be expecting to see as much playing time as they should have, they're going to be thrown right into the mix. So there are going to be a lot of guys fighting for playing time in these spring training games over the next couple of weeks.
There you have it. Balake
breaking it down. We'll see what they do, man. But I feel like this Dodger team, Cappy and I were alluding to it earlier today. There's just going to be a lot of questions, right? Like, Kershaw's to me is always a question, right? Syndergaard is going to be a question. The bullpen to me, look, that's it's like a volatile stock. You never really know what you're going to get until you get there. And then, of course, all the infield stuff. Like, this could be as challenging a season as the Dodgers have had in a number of years.
It is interesting to hear you say that because, Blake, I think everybody still feels like it's the Dodgers division. They won 111 games last year. Yeah, they got knocked out by the Padres, but what did the Padres really accomplish? And yet now, when you look at that Padres roster and you look at the Dodgers roster and what's happened here in the early part of spring training, I wonder, are Dodger fans not as confident?
Yeah, I mean, based on kind of what you've seen, I mean, pretty much already entering kind of spring training in the season, a lot of Dodgers fans were down on this team entering the season just based on how much talent they did lose. Like George said, I mean, there are question marks everywhere. I mean, like he said, in the start.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, man, he was just about to get on a good roll.
Yeah,
too.
he was rolling.
I know.
Yeah.
He's just about to really go through everything. All the
I wonder
marks.
if he's driving. He's probably not driving, is my guess. He's probably just got bad reception where he's at. So Lindsey's working on it right now, though. Because I really want to. Do you remember the last thing he said? Probably not, is my guess.
He was saying that there were question marks everywhere, and he was just about to
All
start
right, there you
going
go.
into
Blake, question marks everywhere. Go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Question marks everywhere. I don't know what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers win 87 games, but I wouldn't be surprised if they win 102 games.
That's a pretty big discrepancy, is what I would say. 15 games.
Yeah, 15 games. Exactly right. Nice math. Very quick.
Anywhere between 81 and 110. They'll win somewhere in that general vicinity, I'll say.
All right.
Fair enough. Balake, you got anything else for us?
No, nothing else. Luckily, no injuries have happened since, but a lot to follow.
Yeah.
A lot to follow this spring training. Like you said, a lot of questions. Jason Hayward, is he going to make the club? We'll have to wait and see. That's the biggest.
Oh my God, Jason Hayward! I completely forgot he's on this roster. Shelby Miller, right, is also on this roster.
Don't forget about Bradley Zimmer.
Yeah.
I will say this though, and I don't want to get a little too worried yet, but we are nearly a week into spring training games, and Clayton Kershaw is nowhere to be found on the playing field.
Oh, you know what? Save that one for when we come back to you next week.
Sounds good. I'll save it. I'll put it in the archives.
There it is. Blake, subscribe to his Substack. Blake Harris Substack. Subscribe there. Don't be a cheap ass like Cappy. Follow him on Twitter. That's easy and free. At Blake H. Harris. So 2 H's. Is where you follow him on Twitter. Inside the Ravine is the podcast. All right, pal. Thank you.
George, one final thing.
Oh.
Your last NBA game the other week, you came with the drip.
Yeah,
I must say.
Very drippy.
Oh, in Denver?
Very drippy.
Serious drip.
Right.
And I
Purple
just wanted to
panties.
let you know because that was incredible, man. That was incredible.
I appreciate you liking the blue turtleneck with the purple and with the purple with the thin blue lined suit. There you go, or shirt or jacket. It wasn't really a suit, so it's just the jacket. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
Very sharp.
Yeah.
No worries.
Cappy
As
said I
always,
looked
appreciate it,
adorbs on
He does.
social media.
He does. He looked adorbs. That was the word I used.
Yeah, it's the word he used. So there you go.
Hey, if my girlfriend was in the circle of trust and she saw that photo, it would have gotten pretty ugly, George. So,
Oh, really?
Wow.
She would have broken up with you immediately.
She probably would have, and I'd be watching TV right now with someone else probably.
Wow, there you go.
Why doesn't she just dress you like George?
She tries. I mean, hey, she dressed me up for that Circle of Trust event, so she might have to get me wearing outfits like that.
All right, there you go. All right, Blake, thank you, pal. We'll talk to you soon.
Later,
All
Blake.
right, guys.
See
You
ya.
guys have a great weekend.
You too. Cappy, before we go, we're going to do Big Deal or No Deal in the last segment because we had Be Real in here, so we changed everything because, of course, we would because he's Be Real.
Mhm.
Cypress Hill legend.
He's a real one.
L.A. Southgate legend. So before that, though, how about you tell them about your friends at
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
Thanks, Sedano. All right, guys. So, big deal or no deal, abbreviated or / late version here today. By the way, I have to say that the tour photographer / videographer / assistant for Be Real in Cypress Hill, he says that he's like his professional joint roller.
Yeah, I can tell.
He gave me and Josh one, and this thing looks like a cigarette.
Well, and the only reason I could tell is because I could smell it when he walked in. I was like, wow, it smells good.
I know. I never really got to talk to him about weed, which I really wanted to talk to him about.
Well, we'll have to have him back.
Next time he comes back, we'll do more weed.
I'll send you a picture, Cappy. I'm showing
I
it.
see
in
it.
the
I'm
stream
looking at it right now on YouTube.
It's perfect. It even has like a little glass filter with like the Cypress Hill logo on it. Like
No
how
way.
crazy is that?
No
he
way.
said that he rolls like thousands of them.
Can
like,
I
in a
get that?
week.
Let me hook up with that. Let me have that.
I don't know, man. I might keep this for myself, Cappy.
Come on, man. Let's use it tomorrow after the show.
Okay.
Before the Lakers.
Okay,
game.
if you're going tomorrow, okay. We'll imbibe. It'll be fun.
All right. Cool.
All right, but yeah, shout out for that. Cool stuff.
Shout out for the doobie.
Yeah, for the doobie. Okay, boomer. Just kidding.
Doobie.
Ken. Just kidding. Ken.
What is it,
Shout out.
1960? Like, what are we doing here?
I'll tell you right now,
There's
Be Real's
Forrest Gump.
Be Real's driving home right now, and he's going, that Cap, he gets me.
Better smoke a doobie with him.
Love
All
to.
right. So anyway, Ford Motor Company has applied for a patent with a surprising new approach to repossessing vehicles. The patent application involves a method for a car whose owner has missed payments to drive itself to a repo lot.
That's funny.
The feature would first lock the person out of the car. A message would be sent to them regarding their delinquent payments, and then it describes a scenario in which the vehicle being repossessed has self-driving capability. Is this a big deal or no deal, Sedano?
I mean, big deal because you could be in trouble. You better make sure you make your damn payments. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm the car company, I think it's great, or the bank who's giving you the loan or whatever. Like, yeah. But Man, that's going to make for some interesting scenarios for people who can't afford their cars for one reason or another.
Usually you see the people that are like chasing the tow truck, like, hey, get back here. But this time they're just going to be like chasing their car, driving itself.
Yeah.
Dude, that is absolutely hysterical. Now, look, I guess it's probably a big problem, right? I mean, you know, if they're trying to create this sort of technology because they're like, look, you know what percentage of people don't make their payment, and if that percentage is high enough and the car can take off on its own, that's pretty damn funny. Big deal.
All right, next one. Deion Sanders finds himself immersed in a bit of controversy as he heads into year one at Colorado. This time, it's from an atheist group who called him out in a letter that they penned to school officials. The letter states that multiple Colorado residents have reached out about Sanders' infusion of his religious views into the football program. The foundation then called upon the university to ensure that Deion Sanders, quote, understands that he has been hired as a football coach and not a pastor. Is this whole situation a big deal or no deal, Cappy?
Ooh, go ahead, Cappy.
I'm going to say big deal for this reason.
Yep.
First of all, I'll just start off with this. Most football teams, and by the way, probably most sports teams, there is an element of religion because there are people that are religious. So like before a game, people are like, hey, there's a prayer session, you know, and those that want to pray, go pray. And those who don't. But I mean, every locker room I was ever in, didn't matter what your religion was. Everybody sat down before the game, kneeled, and everybody did Our Father, you know? And so that's who Deion Sanders is. That's who Colorado hired. They hired a motivator, a preacher, a father figure, a mentor.
Correct.
And a coach.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's the atheist group that doesn't like it because they don't believe in it. Hey, how about this? Mind your own freaking business.
You know what, Cappy? Honestly, I couldn't say it better myself, to be honest with you. Normally I have a lot to add on to these things, but you kind of nailed that one because, look, I would say that I'm not an atheist. Let's start with that. Like, I would say that I'm somewhere between spiritual and agnostic, right? But whatever happened, I think you nailed it with the last part. Whatever happened to just minding your own business, right? Whatever happened to just like, hey, if it's like Aaron Rodgers said the thing earlier, right? If you don't like the drama, just keep it moving, right? If you think I'm just causing drama, just don't pay attention. Like, go focus on something else. No, we live in a world, and I blame social media for this, and I'm going to sound like the old guy for a second, but I think social media, as I've said to you, is the greatest and worst invention ever because everyone feels like they need to comment on everything every single damn second of the day, and not everything needs to have a comment, nor not everything needs to be outrage. You know, like, you don't have to have outrage about everything. So if Colorado hired him and the school is okay with it and the Board of Regents are okay with it and the kids are okay with it, then so be it. I bet you if there's kids who don't want to be a part of whatever Deion is preaching, I'm sure they have an outlet to do so, and I'm sure he's fine with that because I'm sure he played with a lot of players in his day that weren't all super religious either, for that matter.
Dude, but if you know who Deion Sanders is, you know
I do.
This is a part, right?
Yeah,
this is a part
this
of
part
his,
of what you're getting. Yes,
this is a part of who he is.
Right, but again, if it was like the actual kids that he's coaching, or someone in the actual athletic department that had this issue, then maybe it's worth having a conversation about, and at least kind of figuring out where the common ground could be. But it's just like this just seems silly to me. Again, I've said this a million times to you, and I'm going to say it again. The new national pastime in America is outrage. That's it. That's what it is.
Hey, I would just say this. If I were the president of Colorado University, I hired this guy to fix our football program. So, hey, Mr. Atheist guy who doesn't like that he preaches his Christianity, buzz off, pal.
Buzz off, pal. That's a new hotkey.
Buzz off, pal. I like
Buzz off. I like
I
that
mean,
one, Cappy.
I haven't used that ever, but I don't know. It
but
just
I
seemed
like
to work. Anyway, I used buzz rather than the F word.
Buzz off. It sounds like... Never mind.
I mean, Coach Deion, Coach Prime getting Buck all up in here.
Oh, geez, not that one.
All right, let's go.
All right. So
one more.
Justin Bieber has canceled all of the remaining dates of his Justice World Tour following health issues. The 29-year-old singer had postponed the tour several times, telling fans last summer that he was suffering from facial paralysis after a diagnosis of Ramsay-Hunt syndrome.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Yes, he said back in September he wanted to make his health a priority, and then the tour's official Twitter page posted yesterday that ticket holders would automatically receive a refund after the cancellation. So this is kind of a big deal, and I wanted to ask you guys, have you ever had tickets to a concert that you were like super excited about, and then it got canceled.
No, that actually has not happened to me.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah, I have never bought tickets to a concert that got canceled. I mean, we all kind of dealt with this during the pandemic. I literally was about to board a plane to go somewhere and was told, "Don't get on the plane!
Don't do it!"
Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, I'll just stay in my house."
And we did for years.
Yeah. I know I had my when I turned 50, I was supposed to have there was a concert at this club that I go to, and then of course COVID happened and they didn't have it. And then they finally brought it back. I want to say 2 years later, we still had the tickets to it. And just as we're getting ready to go, we got COVID. So not only did
Bummer.
they postpone it, when it finally happened, we had what canceled it in the first place.
Total bummer.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, by the way, Ramsay Hunt syndrome, are you familiar with it, Cappy?
The facial thing that he's got?
Yeah.
Is that where half your face falls asleep and then you
No, it's not I think you're referring to Bell's palsy.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm.
No,
referring
Ramsay
to.
Hunt syndrome is if you've had chickenpox, you technically still have Ramsay Hunt syndrome virus in you.
Yeah, really, I've had it. I've had chickenpox.
Yeah, and that means you're right. You can get what it basically is like a rash. It starts with a rash around your ear, and then it works to paralyzing a side of your face. I've had it, so I know what it's like. Now, not to the point like Justin Bieber's had it, but yeah, the left side of my face sometimes.
That's crazy.
It's not fun.
Also, really quick, the Fugees canceled their tour.
Oh yes, they did.
I was pissed.
Yeah, they did.
I
They
was
did do that.
super pissed.
Two times.
Yeah. So shout out to Bieber. Hopefully he gets better. Hey Key, it's Bieber. Just had to do that myself because I don't know if we had the drop, but anyway.
Oh, no.
Shout out to Kelvin Washington.
But really quick, Anita's already on Comrex.
Oh, is she?
She told me that. What was the concert, Anita? That you?
Anita, go ahead. Just tell us.
What's up, Anita?
Little crosstalk here. Anita Marks Bet LA is coming up after us. Hello, Anita. Is she there?
She's supposed to be there. She was talking to me.
Well, she got up and left.
Oh, yeah, she probably walked away. She was like, they're talking about Ramsay Hunt syndrome,
Bell's palsy or whatever.
Exactly. All right, we're done here, Cappy. Great job today.
Yeah, nice work by you on the pickleball court.
Yes, same here. Lindsay and Laura, excellent work. Bet LA with